on it because it ain't easy. You got Pan Africans, you got $5 Indians, you got you know the white tea that don't want to see don't want to see you tap into nothing. There's a lot of
Yeah,
people on. Nobody wants to see you express our greatness and stuff like that. So just keep doing it, bro. And I'm proud of you, young blood.
for sure. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, this is BK. Yeah, I see you asking a question. Are African Americans, are basically are Americans, Africans, why they're being afraid? That's a good question. That's a real good question. Why are they being afraid? Why are people being ashamed of being African?
Why do you think that is?
I think because people are trying to deny their history of slavery, and instead of understanding slave, or they're not taught their history correctly. They don't understand the depth. Because like most schools, they start teaching Black history from slavery when Black history didn't start as slavery.
Okay.
It goes thousands of years back. So most the information they're supposed, they don't get that information. So because it started slavery, they think that the only history of Black people is slavery. And they don't understand how, Black history begins further back with civilization, mathematics, science, astrology, all of this that Black people give to the world. So if all of that is not being taught to them and all they're beginning with is slavery and slave ship, then nobody want to be a part of that.
Bro,
Nobody want to be, oh yeah, you're the slave ship
Hey,
people.
BK.
Nobody want to be known as that. Huh?
Hey, BK. So you saying all Black people came from Africa? We weren't all over.
Put it this way: all human species came out of Africa. Black people in America, the Caribbean.
Okay.
We all.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
It just depends on what time y'all came out of Africa.
How did that happen when America is an older, more developed continent than Africa?
America cannot be an older, more developed continent than Africa.
How can it not be? Okay, let me ask you. Hold on. Give me a second.
Let me answer the question first.
Hold on. Okay.
You asked me a question. Let me answer it.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me answer it. America cannot predate Africa because if you look at all the elephants and the giraffes and all this stuff is in Africa. They're not found in America. All right.
Well, you know how much stuff is extinct? The matador, the what's the name? It's so much, man. There's more extinct animals than there are animals that are still alive, bro. So you can't go off of that. What you can go off of is the fact that the entire continent of Africa only has freshwater sources. North America alone, just America, 220,000 freshwater sources. Africa, of the 642 fruits that are indigenous, that are on this planet, 602 of them come from America, bro, come from the Americas. 3 come from Africa. So how is Africa the motherland, bro, when all of the resources are here? Africa has what? 300 something pyramids. North America has 20 something thousand.
That's not true. That is not, those numbers that you're putting out is not true.
Don't fight me, Shantae.
First of all, I'm gonna let you know that's not true. That's false information.
He came in.
Okay. Well, let's
fire.
Let me give you something. Let me give you something that you can research. The Bible tells you that the Nile River has 7 streams coming off of it. If you're African, how many streams y'all got coming off the Nile over there? 3. You know how many streams come off the Mississippi River? 7. Bro, to get this up, you're saying we're uneducated, bro. We're miseducated, and y'all are too. Y'all are too.
All right, because you just trying to quote the Bible just now. All right, that's not a credible source.
What's up, now, y'all?
Yeah, let's look at artifacts now. Start looking at artifacts. All right.
Look at facts.
The oldest pyramids are found in the Giza in Africa. Okay.
No, they're not.
How old would they be? How old would they be, BK?
They predates every pyramid in the Americas.
How old is the oldest?
Hold
on, one second, y'all. 1 second. How old is the Great Pyramids of Giza?
It's over 7,000 BCE.
Oh wow, 7,000 BCE.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay. You got.
That's
Have you
it?
ever heard of the
Tell
Poverty
me
Point?
what predates that in America.
The Poverty
Okay.
Point Mountains in LSU.
The what?
The Poverty Point Mountains in LSU. They're man-made.
Exactly. Exactly.
No, those are not pyramids.
They're mounds.
But no, they're
They're ma-
3,500 BCE. Those are
They're still a
3,500
man-made.
BCE.
Hold on, somebody might be going crazy.
I just got a real quick question, bro. I got a real quick question.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
The black man invented the cell phone. American black man invented the cell phone. We invented cars. C.J. Patterson.
Facts.
We invented open heart surgery. We invented stoplights. Bro, we invented just about everything that makes this earth go around, right? What?
That's not.
Why? Hold on. Why aren't blacks inventing stuff like that over in Africa? Did they take all? Did they take all of a certain kind of people? Because y'all haven't invented anything since we left there,
Yeah.
bro.
Okay.
If we were there.
Okay, so listen to this. They invented the mathematics that
Thank
is
you. Pretty
used
good.
to engineer cell phones. Okay?
They invented what?
Mathematics that is
Who invented
used to invent the
mathematics?
cell phone.
Who invented mathematics? Now you're
The
reaching, bro.
Africans.
How?
I'm
Bro.
telling. Oh, you mean oh? I'm telling you. Another thing.
So at what point?
You
At
see,
what
you
point
see,
did y'all
you see
become?
computers and
Hold on.
phones.
At what
use binary.
point?
Do you
Bro,
know
come
who
on,
came
man,
up with the
talk.
binary system?
Okay, so if you guys invented mathematics, at what point did y'all become what am I thinking? At what point did y'all become technologically disadvantaged? At what point? If y'all were leading the world and everything, at what point did we take over? Because
Okay.
the American
You want me to
black
tell
man
you?
has been the American black man has
Around-
been on top of everything.
Yeah, this is when the collapse of the African civilizations. That's around the last collapse was around say
Mama Kim?
1,500 BCE. That's when the Europeans
It was
conquered
kind of cool.
Africa and started the change started.
Okay.
Just
and
like the rise and fall of every civilization, Rome,
Okay.
the Greeks, every
I got you.
civilization rise and
But
we.
at what
And
point?
read.
At what point? At
Do I
what
have any
point
mods
did
in
we?
here?
At what point did we, the American black man and woman, become the greatest thing on this planet? At
Oh,
what
is
point
it that
did
the
that
black men in America?
Agree
did-
one.
Okay, the richest black people in
I'm not
America.
talking about riches, bro. I'm not talking about riches.
Yeah.
We're not talking about money,
What
bro.
you
We're
talking about? What do you mean by greatest? Then?
Bro, the world imitates us, bro. Nobody imitates Africa.
Listen,
The
man.
world imitates our
That's not
swords.
true,
They
man.
imitate- Bro, you don't imitate our culture, bro. Y'all not
Me?
imitate. Y'all not doing
Me?
drill music over there.
Me?
Y'all not doing drill music in Africa.
Listen, listen. Who are the one who brought the culture, the black culture here?
No,
It's
Oh,
my
we did,
immigrants.
bro. See, that's what y'all fail to realize.
Our
We already
culture.
had culture here.
Every day,
Y'all come
every
from
day
overseas.
pizza. The Italians, your favorite food is pizza, pasta.
my favorite food
These
ain't
are
pizza,
Italian
motherfucker.
Where did,
food.
hold on 1 second. Where did tomatoes come from?
Tomatoes are indigenous to North America. Thank you very much. They're not indigenous to Italy. They're not indigenous to Europe. They're not indigenous to Africa. So however they use those
I
tomatoes,
don't
bro,
know
they
who told you all of that. The only thing that's really indigenous to America is corn. Corn.
are you bro?
No,
So
it's
y'all
not.
grow-
Like, are you serious? Like, let's not be
I'm telling you.
disingenuous now.
We
Let's
true.
not be.
Yeah,
You want to
I-
know what's
Yeah,
indigenous?
let's
Talk
not be it. No, tomato.
the
BK, calm
Native
down, calm down.
Americans.
BK, calm down. With that being said, tomatoes are from America. Corn is from America, correct. It's a lot of things that's from America. Even
every
cassava,
squash,
that's
green beans, everything.
cassava.
But the roots are not. Most of the
Yeah,
roots
cassava
are
is-
from the Native Americans.
Yeah, because cassava is from America, yes.
But when you talk
Mhm.
about pineapple, oranges,
Pineapples
those
are from
not American
America.
All
fruits.
from America.
Yes, it
all
is.
from
Pineapple,
America, all from
pineapple,
Watermelon
pineapple is from
not
America.
American.
Yes, it is. They
All
found
from
the
America.
Spaniards.
Alright.
The
Watermelon from
Hold
All
on
of
one
this was
second.
brought,
One mic, y'all. One
breadfruit,
mic.
banana.
One mic. Can y'all stop? Can y'all stop cutting me off, please? Thank you. Pineapples are from America. The Spaniards saw watermelons in the Mississippi when they came to Mississippi, the Delta region. Watermelons. Okay. We got a bunch of stuff that's from America. Even your main ingredients in fufu come from America. Tomatoes, cassava, you know.
Exactly. My thing is this, bro. You're talking about all of this stuff, bro. We're talking about real resources. Resources are food and water, and America has the most food and water on planet Earth. So that means it's the most.
That's not true.
Who has more, bro?
We ship a lot to Africa. Actually, that's definitely.
Listen,
the number
Africa
one.
produce more food
No,
than
no.
America because
What is that?
Africa feeds Europe.
You can't. So you mean to tell me that you can grow more food off of 60 freshwater sources than you can off of 220,000 plus freshwater
There's a
sources?
water shortage in America. What are you talking about? California have a water shortage.
No, they
What
used
are
to have
you
a water
talking
shortage.
about? Arizona,
What's up, Susan?
Nevada, they have a water shortage.
They just undammed the water, bro. You're not even paying
You know
attention to
what
what's
I'm
going
saying?
on. Trump just undammed that water.
Why
No
you
more
think they're
water.
having so much wildfires over there? Because there's a
In
water shortage.
Africa, so you name one state, bro. Africa, the most of it is not having a drought or a water shortage. Come on, bro.
No,
Most of y'all
no.
land is, bro. I've been to
Do
16
you know-
countries in Africa.
do you
Most of
know-
y'all land
you
is
know-
cloudy.
You know the United States can fit into Africa 8 times?
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Cap.
No, that's cap. That's all cap. That's lies. That's lies, bro. That's the way they
Man,
drew it up.
You know the problem is you were
That's the way they drew it
educated
up.
by oppressor, and this is the biggest problem.
It's
Being
educated.
educated
No,
by
I'm-
oppressor
I'm-
educated
All right,
them.
hold on.
Listen,
It's too many mics.
so
It's too many mics going. It's too many mics going on.
BK, you're dumb.
Oh gosh. Let's try to keep try to keep it clean live because I'm not trying to get suspended again.
I can dig it, bro. I'm not gonna diss my man or nothing like that. But bro, y'all need to chill out saying we from there, bro, because we not. Y'all worse than the oppressor. We not from there, bro.
African is a very poor country continent, and it's dope. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just been there. It's so poor, it's ridiculous.
Okay. There's nothing in disenfranchising yourself.
What is the
You know what I'm saying?
CR?
Nobody
Oh
begging
my
anybody
goodness,
to
some
do
people
something.
still carrying that food and stuff on top of their head. It's so sad out there.
Exactly.
It's very
Okay.
poor.
Okay, and nobody is
Americans are
saying
very
you need to be
fortunate,
American.
y'all. You're very fortunate.
Yeah, so but how is it that with all your fortune, the people who in
Man,
charge of
don't say
you,
nothing
the
to me.
people
I've been
who
over in
oversee
Africa.
you,
You're
abuse you,
poor.
did you
It's
know?
sad.
Have you ever
Stop
watched
it.
13?
Please
Have you ever watched
stop it.
that
Stop.
documentary on
Stop
Netflix
it.
13? Yes
Stop
or no?
it. Stop it. You can't
Have
go.
you ever
It's a
watched
poor
13 and
country.
see how you're
Stop
Y'all
it.
had-
One
Stop
mic,
it.
yo,
It's
one,
poor.
yo,
The
hold
country
on,
is
1 second,
poor.
1 second, one mic. Let's keep it one mic at a time, please.
He really just said
Africans
Africans are worse than their oppressors. That
I've-
nigga crazy.
Have you ever watched the documentary 13? Yes or
You
no?
can't
Do you
talk
see how
or
you're
stand
treated in
next
this
to
country?
me.
Wow.
It's sad.
Huh?
It's so poor.
The educational
Africa
No,
system
is
answer my
poor.
question. Have you ever
It's
seen how
sad.
you're treated in this
Stop.
country?
Stop it, please. Stop
You
embarrassing
know that you're a
yourself.
fourth class citizen in this country?
Stop it, please.
Hold on,
Stop.
bro. You listen. Hold on.
Bro,
Hold
yeah,
on.
I don't
You've
want
been
to answer
watching
my
too much.
question.
You've been watching too
Stop
much
it.
TV.
You're
bro.
sad.
We
You're sad.
don't nobody fear white. Y'all fear white people in
We're
Africa,
the
bro.
big-
Why,
don't.
hold on,
Don't.
y'all. Keep YT.
White tea, y'all.
Drop some
Y'all
fruit-
fear
drop some
white
fruits in the
people.
Drop some fruits in the chat, y'all. Drop some fruits in the chat, y'all.
Okay, who is the largest minority group in America?
The largest
Not
white.
black people. White people.
What's the largest
Asian?
minority group in prison in America?
Really?
Hold on.
One second.
Blacks aren't minorities.
One
We're not a
second.
minority here.
One second. Hold on. 1 second. Why you bringing up prison, BK?
Because
yeah?
majority of the prison in
What-
the world is Black Americans.
What is
And you're
what's your point?
glorifying
What's your
your
hold on?
country, how many
people in
prison?
Hey, 1 second, y'all. Come on.
Yeah.
I'll clear the stage. I'm about to clear the
Country.
stage soon. Like, come on. Let's keep it one mic at a time.
You from Baltimore?
You said what?
You from Baltimore?
Yeah, I'm from Baltimore, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. I picked that right up.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead and ask the
I
question.
was about to say I don't want to clear the stage, but let's
I got
keep
a
it like a
question.
one mic
I
policy.
got a
Yeah.
question, yo.
1 second.
All right.
Like, why are you bringing up prison, BK?
Because they're just talking down about somebody being at a disadvantage in Africa. So I'm letting y'all know
Oh, my
that
bad.
Black
What's up?
Americans
That's not
are at a
talking down. It's
disadvantage
fact,
in America.
sweetie.
No,
It's fact.
That was
Okay,
talking down.
so it's a fact that
Hold
Black
on,
Americans are at a
everybody-
No,
disadvantage.
this stop it. Stop
Everybody-
embarrassing
Look
yourself.
at
Embarrassing
Chicago.
yourself.
Look
Know
at
your history.
Detroit.
Stop
before you even
embarrassing
start.
Look how the
Everybody
police
mute
can
up.
kneel in the
Everybody,
neck and
please.
crap out of you.
Everybody mute up. Everybody mute up. Except for, come on. TikTok, this for the same educational purposes only. No hate speech, bullying. Peace, everybody.
For sure. What's up, Rasheed Goddess? Yeah.
Okay, so anybody gonna respond to how you are treated in America compared
I
to
love
how
the response.
Africans are
I
treated
You're
in
talking
Africa.
nonsense.
They may be poor,
Doesn't
but
make
they have
sense.
their
the response
dignity.
to it.
You're
Y'all
rubbish,
may be
talking
rich, but you have
rubbish.
no dignity.
Not making
All right, I got
sense.
some.
we don't have no-
I got some receipts for you. Now, what was your question?
If you go, yeah, I said the question was asked to me why I bring up the prison, and I say, you see how African Americans are treated, or Black Americans, as you want to be called, is treated in America. They are the majority in the prison system. They are the majority in the world who's locked up in prison.
The majority in the country.
Okay,
Well, hold on.
in the
hold
world.
on.
What about in your
Go ahead.
country?
Okay.
All the people locked up.
Yo, come
No,
on,
I'm
come on,
going
come
by
on.
the.
Come on, y'all.
Watch 13
What's
is
up,
on
grandson?
Netflix. Watch 13 is on Netflix.
Okay, I get
This
it.
is
I get
one
it.
of the
Okay,
only countries.
I get
TV,
your
some
question.
on
So I
TV.
got. Hold on, y'all. Sir, first of all, we had a 1894 Prison Act, right? Done by people who were descendants of people like you, okay? Who were mass incarcerating our melanated men. Now, my question is this. Why is majority of the Nigerians that flooded over here signed up to become prison guards and trustees and shit? Because as far as I'm concerned, the people who's getting locked up and that doesn't have the same thing to do with the people who, hold on, somebody got a background. That doesn't have the same thing to do with the people who actually creates the most crimes, right? We get locked up unfairly because of our labels. Now, what the society understands that we are not the same, sir. When they talk about Africans, they say this Nigerian man, this Ghana man. When they come to us, they say African American or Black. So my whole thing is, y'all been the hidden hand this whole time, Nigerians, right? Out of all the 350 languages in Africa, 250 come from Nigeria alone. Something got to be wrong with that, right? So my whole question is this: why y'all over here? Why is over half the population in Africa under the age of 18?
Okay, the questions you're asking, saying why are people young? Why in Africa? Like, I don't see the relevance of the question.
I'll tell you the relevance in it. Like, you have more orphans in Nigeria, and why is y'all over here not helping y'all home?
Who told you
That's
that?
my question.
You what?
Excuse me?
Who told you that? What's called Africa? Nigerians not helping their home. Have you been to Nigeria?
Yeah, I have. And was I talking to you? I don't tongue wrestle with dudes. Now, if you want to address me, you could speak, but I wasn't talking to you.
Well,
Go ahead.
Well, let me tell you something. Nigerians are helping their people, all right? And it's like a family. Look at the rich Black people in America. You can say Jay-Z and Beyonce ain't helping the Black folks in Chicago and Detroit. Look how they living on the streets. I could ask you the same question.
Hold on, sir.
It's the same reason.
No, it's not the same thing, because over here we offer help. We got food stamps. We got battered women's shelters. We got Section 8 programs, housing programs, benefits. What's going to happen if we come over to Africa? We ain't getting none of that. You cannot compare. We got hoods. We ain't got ghettos and slums. We don't have to, walk on water or drink from stagnant water that we bathe and decrescentate in and all of that weird stuff, bro. Stop comparing us to y'all. We're not the same. We offer people help, obviously.
Facts.
Why are they begging for food if they got food stamp? Why are they at Walmart?
Right, begging for
Black people $1 every
Hold
day?
on, what you say, sir?
Who's looking for food?
He said what?
Africa's the only one
Why
begging
are
for
Black
food.
Americans at Walmart and
Africa
at
is the only
McDonald's
one
begging food every day?
bro.
Sir, let me tell you something. First of all, melanated Americans, melanated Americans.
Africa's the only country begging for food.
Yeah, melanated Americans aren't the #1 people on welfare, sir.
But why
Foreigners
y'all keep
is
muting
and
my
white
mic?
tea people. Hold on.
Y'all
hold
are
on.
the ones that come over
Hold on,
here.
dude. Wait a minute. No, because now
And
you're not even
stamps.
talking about your own country no more. That's crazy. How y'all be over here with y'all accents all in our business, worried about what's going over here. Y'all
Listen,
need
right.
to worry
we
about
come-
fixing
so
a
we
home.
come
No,
from, we run
y'all
this
don't
world.
have no
Y'all, we
media.
been
And,
telling y'all
bro,
fool.
stop interrupting.
It's in y'all right since the
One
80s.
mic on receipt goddess, y'all. One mic on receipt goddess, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute up because I know everybody passionate got something to say too. But I'm just saying, like, talk about what's going on over there. Y'all don't like when we talk about what's going on over there. Y'all all in our business for what? Because what? Y'all come over here and y'all become a part of the import-export business. We know what's up. We know what y'all doing over here. Y'all extracting gold and diamonds from here, putting Africa name on it. So what we need Africa for? Nothing. Y'all need us. Be
Okay.
humble.
Okay, tell me about
What?
what's going on
Holding
in
out
All right, hold on
business.
one
What?
second, one
What?
second, one
What?
second, one second, one second.
What?
If somebody,
What you mean,
all right,
what? You
hold on.
surprised?
All
What?
right, yeah, I know Ye wanted to say something. What's going on?
I'm sorry. Let me just say something real fast. I'm sorry. How you guys doing?
What's up? I'm here.
I just want to say something real fast. Africans don't hate. We don't hate Black Americans.
You
It's just
did.
like we don't understand each other. That's the problem, yo. We really don't understand each other.
Where are you from?
Why do you
Wait,
have to
hold on,
understand each
one sec.
other?
I was about to say, where you from? Yeah,
I'm from the Congo, bro.
you're from the Congo. Okay,
Yes, sir.
cool. All right, cool. What
Hmm.
tribe? What's your ethnic background in the
Congolese
Congo?
American. I'm the
No, what tribe?
Mushi.
American.
Mushi is called Mushi tribe.
Oh, you're the Moshi tribe. Okay. How long you been? How long your family been in America?
I've been here all my life, bro. Straight here from the top of my head, but all I know is I left Congo when I was like 3 going on 4 years old, and I'm 29 right now.
Okay. So, all right. Explain how we don't understand each other.
Because like one, Africa is a whole different continent. America is a whole different continent. 2
Mhm.
different cultures right there.
Right.
Countries. I'm sorry, but like growing up in America, right? I grew up with Africans, and I grew up with Black Americans. When I started like peeping how we don't understand each other, bro, that shit is sad. I'm sorry for the bad language. That it's just sad, yo. Every time I hop on TikTok, the only thing I see us doing is arguing against each other, amongst each other. Like,
Can I add something, brother?
go ahead.
Please, and I didn't mean to interrupt
You
you.
good, you good, you good.
What you're seeing here today is
Mhm.
our response.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because we originally started off minding our business, right?
Yes.
We've been getting this backlash. I mean, if you haven't noticed, everybody wants only American melanated people to take a DNA test and prove who they is, right? Nobody's asking the melanated Australians, the melanated Japanese. Nobody asking nobody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, we don't teach our children to hate other melanated people, right? But I know Africans speak about how their family teaches them the same.
Let me stop you right there real fast, okay?
Hold on.
Let me stop you right there
Wait.
real fast. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You can't. Okay, I'm gonna pause, but you can't stop the truth, right? Let's just
You're
speak
right.
about that because they know we in this situation because we actually grew up loving everybody. We don't hate, bro. Go ahead.
You said African parents like teach their kids to like hate Black Americans.
Facts.
That's a lie. You know why?
How? Okay, let me just say
let me
this.
speak.
Let me speak.
Let me
Wait a minute. No, wait.
Let me
Wait a
speak.
minute, dude.
I gave
Wait a
you time.
minute. I'm going to let you speak. But first of all, do not call me a liar. You can't speak for the
I
whole
didn't say
Africa.
you was a liar.
Just hold on.
You speaking for the whole continent of Africa right now, saying Africans.
You are speaking for the whole continent of Africa when you said Africans don't this, Africans don't speak for Congo. I said what I said.
You gonna mute me and not mute her, bro? That's crazy.
I didn't mute you. She muted you.
Oh, I didn't know that. My bad. My apologies. But like, can I say, you done, my sister?
Speak, bro. Speak,
Okay.
bro.
For people to basically say that Africans, whatever, I'm gonna speak from because like I understand what she's saying, right? But for her to say that African parents teach their kids to like hate, no, that's a lie. I didn't say you were a liar. I'm just saying that's a lie. For example, I'm gonna say I'm from the Congo, right?
It's not a lie, bro.
It's not.
Just the Africans that you know that you grew up around. Don't judge the whole continent of Africa, bro. Not all African, because like listen, let me speak. I'm not
Go
doing
ahead.
it, right?
Just
Yeah, let him lie real
Right?
quick.
Some Africans, right? Some African parents, they tell their kids to stay away from certain other African countries because, like, some other African countries, we don't get along. Me, for an example, right? Me growing up in America, my parents, they personally told me to stay away from Africans because, like, the conflict that happens in the Congo. Because we out here getting attacked. My country, the Congo, is out here getting attacked by our neighboring countries. So they always told me, watch out for other Africans because, like, it's like that. I'm gonna speak for my country. I'm not gonna speak for West Africans. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna speak for my country. For y'all to think that every African parents, they be teaching their kids to hate Black Americans, that's not true.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know why it's true? You know why it's true? Because I'm gonna tell you why it's true. This is the reason. We don't worship the white man.
You say what?
All Africans worship the white man.
Who told
YT.
you this, bro? That's a
YT.
lie.
Y'all, YT, please.
Sorry, YT.
Thank you.
I
All right, drop some fruits in the chat, y'all. It's a safe space.
YT.
No, you got it.
And that's a fact. You know what I mean? I had
That's an opinion, my brother.
It totally. Listen, let me tell you something. I had one of my African buddies at a job, right? Moving his fucking house. This dude gave me a couple of beds, right?
Mhm.
Couple white dude with the truck. He gave this guy $300, right? When we left, right? He was like, "Did he pay you?" I'm like, "No, he didn't pay me." He was like, "This dude gave me $300," and this is a white guy telling me that an African. We moved to Africans' house. He was like, "That shit ain't fair." This is the white guy, because we all work together. He was like, "Yo, I'm gonna take you out to get dinner." So from that point on, right, I knew the ideal of the African, right? Because people told me that African was shady. I didn't never believe it until I saw it with my own eyes.
You basically you judging the whole
No.
continent of Africa based on one
No,
experience
no.
with one African, bro. That's not fair, bro.
Finish. Okay, hold on.
Listen. Africans have a dialect that they
Hold on.
think they're bigger. They think they're bigger than Black Americans. They really actually think they're above us.
Listen, I work with Black
That's
Americans,
where they get
man,
it wrong.
and
at.
they be snitching.
What? Oh,
They
you
think
about it.
they're above us. They think that we actually come from them, and we don't. And they try
Thank
to
you,
do
Hula.
us like that.
Can I just say something real fast?
Hold on. Before you say something, go ahead, Juicy, because I know you want to say something.
Yeah, she been wanting to speak. Yeah, let's get the mic flowing. Ah, yeah, you heard that, Jerica? Like, hello. Go ahead, Juicy. You there?
Oh,
Okay, go on mute. That's why I'm muting you. Go ahead, Juice.
I just don't understand why the African people want us to be the same. And the word black to me, y'all need to look that up. That's a racist slur to me, calling yourself black. I don't like that word. Oh, yeah.
Answer the
And
question.
African
Why you have be
Americans
snitching?
is African
What?
American. Y'all know
When
where that came
somebody
from. It
talking,
came
go
from
on
Jesse
mute.
James. He the one that started that mess. African American. No. I consider myself as American.
For sure.
Can I
For sure.
Get in here for a sec. Can I get in
Hold
here
on,
for a
hold on. Let
second?
Musa go.
Yeah, go ahead, Musa.
Hey, peace, family. Here's the thing that's really interesting. I'm from New York. I grew up between New York and Detroit, and I found, and the reason I'm making this statement is because I have cousins that are part Nigerian. My aunt, who is Shinnecock, married a Nigerian man, and I can tell you
What's up, C3 mommy?
that, yeah, every time I talked to her, we were battling head to head. Why? She thought because she was Nigerian that somehow she was graded, that she was better than me, but we're first cousins. My father and her sister and her mother, first cousins. Now my aunt married an African or a Nigerian man. That's really her business. But the bottom line is the way that he would present himself was to teach his daughters that they somehow were better than us. He was teaching them, hey, look, I'm royalty and they're nothing, which is really interesting because here's the thing. That's my father's people are Shinnecock and Taino, whereas my mother's people are we're Powhatan, more specifically Pamunkey Indian, as well as Cherokee. I know my bloodline. The problem I have is that we have individuals trying to make us Africans because we may share phenotypes, but we are not the same group of people. And I think that's important that people need to understand that. And thinking you're better than us, many of us are royalty. I happen to be a registered tribal member, but unfortunately, because of the changing of laws and because of things like Plecker, you know, when he was dealing with racial integrity, the Racial Integrity Act and codes, because of the changing, many of our people, in a sense, have lost that because of the changing of whether you went from being an Indian to colored or Negro, or if you decided to go on a reservation or not. But them thinking that we are somehow less than them is totally insane. And I can tell you that we are a great people. We are resilient people, but we are not Africans. And I think it's a point that needs to be made.
You're right, bro. That's how they treat us.
Can I say something now, though?
Go ahead.
I just want to say I'm African. I don't think I'm better or above no Black American. I know there's a lot of other Africans out here who think how I think. But like for us to keep like having this narrative that we one side hate each other and another side don't hate each other, one side hate each other, we really gotta like literally have a sit down and just like talk this stuff out. Yes, you guys been here a long time. A lot of us don't know what our histories, and I understand that it's not our fault. And for some of you guys to think that Africans praise the white tea, that is not true. Some of them might love them more than they love themselves. But like at the end of the day, we don't worship. Me, I'm gonna speak for myself. I would never. Only person I worship is the Black woman I came out of. That's the only thing I worship. But like,
Okay.
and everything, no African is above a Black American, and no Black American is above any African. That's how I live my life. That's how I'm gonna teach my kids, and then my kids gonna teach their kids. And I'll be out here teaching people that my family that I went in the Congo, we don't even know the stuff that goes on in America, because like when I tell you the way the Congo is so censored to like even see what's going on in the world, bro, it's crazy. Because I remember like the George Floyd incident, right? And like a couple years ago, I was on the phone. I called my dad in the Congo. I was like, "Yo, Dad, a Black man just got killed, and they basically like killed him because of his race." My dad was like, "Yo, that stuff still goes on." My bad, bro. I didn't know. I'm not big on TikTok like that. My dad was like, "Oh, stuff like that still goes on out there." I was like, "Yeah." Is a lot of us out here are still uneducated, but all I know is like no Black man, no Black American is above an African, no African is above a Black American. That's how I live my life.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you guys too, man. Like someday we're gonna understand each other. Someday we're gonna like learn our history the right way. That's all I had to say. I appreciate you guys.
All right. Cool.
Enough respect for what you just said, man. That was straight up, you know, a powerful statement. And that's the same thing I'm saying. Like, you know, I don't have no hate to Black Americans. All right. But I'm just responding to what's been said to me. You understand? And honestly, I don't want to get into that back and forth with, you know, on negative stuff, because at the end of the day, I'm living in America. I see the end of the day, if I get pulled over by YT, they'll see a Black man. No matter where you come from in the world, all they see is a Black man, and they treat you like a Black man. And that's it at the end of the day. It doesn't matter where you was born and you know who you know and all of that, you're still a Black man. And if I go to China, I'm still a Black man. And I go to Africa, I'm still a Black man. And I come back to America, I'm still a Black man.
Can I say
let's just keep it 100.
Can I say another thing?
Instead of dividing, we should unite.
Can I say another thing that I witnessed when I took a trip to the Congo?
Go ahead.
I know a lot of people might think that this and that, right? Me growing up in America, us Africans, not just Africans, Ghanaians and whatever, Nigerians, Jamaicans, and Haitians. One thing I know for a fact, we look up to y'all, Black Americans, and that's a fact. Me being an African man, I'm gonna tell you that right here. Back in the day, if you go in Africa today, bro, You see a lot of people that want to be 50 cents. You see a lot
Yeah.
of people that want to be Lil Wayne. When I was younger, I thought I was Lil Wayne. Those are the type of people we looked up to. So for the people to be out here saying that we hate Black Americans, it's just like I said, we don't hate y'all. We don't understand one another. That's what it is. We
You know,
really don't
let me answer
understand
that real
one
quick,
another.
and then Tim, you can go ahead and go, right?
That's all I had to say.
This,
All right.
see now, this is where the smoke originally come from, okay? When we were on apps, right, just speaking about our own, you know, family tree, our own line, right? Here comes the natives, right? These people that are on reservations, talking about as native erasures. They were calling us, you know, slurs, calling us the N-word, wobbles, all of this stuff. Then the next people was Pan-Africans, okay? They saying y'all ashamed to be Afro. They saying y'all ashamed to be Afro. Africa. So one thing I do know is my main smoke is for these higher ups, these hidden hands, right? And these Pan-Africans, because they're the ones who started all of this. They had us rocking Pan-African flags and we thinking it's African
buffering.
flags, bro. Like these people are a business. They are a corporation. They work with these natives on these reservations to steal from our land, right? These are the ones who are, you know, burning and sinking towns, bro, forever. A lot of people don't know the original Cuba was in New Mexico. But after WW2, you know, 1945 was horrible. I'm talking about they started removing bales that year. They put fluoride in our water. They were using the atomic, you know what? You know what I'm saying? Sinking whole cities, covering up pyramids and all types of stuff here over here, bro.
Yep.
So that's all I really got to say for now. But go ahead, Tim.
Go ahead, Tim. Yeah.
Hey,
And
how
if you
y'all
don't
doing?
have anything else to add, feel free to drop so I can add more people up.
I mean, I think there always will be a little salt, a little divisiveness, because I mean, a lot of the African continent, they played a role in slavery, you know, so you'll always have some kind of, you know, bitterness about that. 'Cause, I mean, you even have certain countries that they've apologized for their role in slavery, and it just seems like everybody has benefited from Black slavery and Black innovation, but Black people. So I mean, we are genetically connected, but somebody in the group already said, but we're not the same. So I mean,
Your finger probably covering up your mic.
Let me ask a question. This is a question for the panel, right? Have you ever been around an African that you was in a situation where as though they had more power than you? Like they might have been your boss, or they might have been your supervisor, or
Thank
might
you.
have been just as higher in the league or something than you was. Has anybody have been in that situation on the panel?
I mean, we do have a lot of scanners.
Anybody?
Scammers.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I have.
Anybody been
I
in that
have.
situation?
Yeah, I have. I know what you're talking about. Yep, I have.
You know how they treat you, right?
Question?
Yeah.
Yeah. They treat you. They treat you like you less.
Has
That
anybody
you less
been
than.
in America been in a situation where as though an African had high authority to you on a job in any type of situation?
Yes.
I've had it multiple times.
And can you tell the difference the way they treat the Black American to a white guy?
Yeah, it's a
I
big
don't
difference.
even remember.
And then you could go ahead and go April too. Just want to say this. Yeah, I've experienced it. My mom actually married a Nigerian man. See, I was born in the early 80s, right? When there was a mass flush of them coming over here, and they knew we weren't the same, right? It was a little bit more respect a little bit back then, but a lot of them were, you know, marrying in for green cards and stuff, but it was for land grab on the low. You know what I'm saying? So I see it. I see some cool ones too. You get what I'm saying? And that's how I have the information that I do have is by understanding and observing them. My brother, he's married to a Uganda woman, so I've been around Africans all my life.
Right,
You get
right.
what I'm saying? So, and I know how they think. I know how a lot of them throw their weight around once they get,
Very
some more
impressive.
money and stuff. Yeah.
Very impressive.
What's
Very
up, Crystal? Yeah. Well, yeah, go ahead, April.
I mean, I will say, but I'm all for them coming over. We need to get our numbers up over here. I mean, yeah, we had to, they expect a ride.
I don't know about all that.
I don't know.
Oh, no,
I would
Hey,
rather say,
here's
okay,
my
wait,
thing. Here's my
we
thing.
gon-
But they keep on taking.
wait,
what do you
we
think is happening
gon-
to
we
the
gon-
scholarships?
okay, we're gonna let
You know what I mean? I'm
April
just-
speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's-
No,
Let's
I
say
wanted,
April.
I wanted, hey, panel. I wanted to add that
You
I
know,
worked in
Africans
the,
don't like us, bro.
Let April speak.
I worked in the medical system with the Department of Mental Health, and a lot of the people that are in charge of the residentials with like the mental health patients were Africans. And I don't want to say that like some of them were cool, but they would definitely, a lot of them worked in the mental health.
I did not mean to
system.
comment that.
Yeah, and control over the residentials. And one of the reasons why they brought me in as American Indian, as Black American, is that they wanted me to teach the Africans how to treat a lot of the patients in the mental health system, and they were really hard on them. They just didn't really understand the culture, and they used to always come to get me when it came to like diffusing arguments and conflicts, because of course we're going to treat our people with compassion. And so, I don't want to say all of them were mean. I think a lot of them just didn't have an understanding of our culture. And I just feel like, and they don't, some of them didn't want to know. They just wanted me to help diffuse and build relationships with our people. And so they made a huge distinction that I was not them. They made a huge distinction that they were African and I was American. And so, when the brother at the bottom, Gay, says that like there's a huge misunderstanding, absolutely, because I feel like in Africa, it's hard enough for them to understand their own tribes to come all the way across the ocean and try to understand us.
Can I address something real quick? Thank you so much for that, guys.
One second.
Marie.
That's the younger version you're talking about. The younger version. All the older people, they don't care.
Do we have any?
I wanted to address something real quick, y'all, and I'm gonna mute up to this Marie talking about Buffalo soldiers helped the YT conquer. First of all, let me tell you something about that, Native, right? Stop lying. Number one, stop lying. First of all, the Buffalo soldiers were melanated soldiers, right? Who were trying to stop you guys from unaliving and consuming all of our buffalo over here. Okay? So don't say that we helped the YT conquer. That was y'all. Go ahead, because that just pissed me off.
Yeah, I'm about to start clearing, getting some new voices up here. So if you drop, don't take it personal.
They were called
Screen up, y'all.
Have the screen up too.
Y'all, they were bison.
You want to speak?
Remember, they were bison, not buffalo. Buffalo is from Asia. They were bison.
Bison, but they named it buffalo. Yeah. No, here. So, yeah. What, Stacey and then C3?
I'd like to say peace to the panel, y'all. I came
What's
up
up, Keisha?
because I heard y'all talking about working with them. Now, I've worked in the healthcare most of my life. I started off in the nursing homes. When they started coming over here, they were going to school for nursing. A lot of them were going to school for doctoring. Nigerians that like to go in for doctoring and nursing. They've taken over the nursing field up here, and in the nursing homes, they're the aides and the TMAs and the charge nurses. And they're some of the laziest goddamn people I've ever worked with in my entire life. You cannot find them. They will pick up all these damn shifts. And then when you go to find them, they are asleep. They're half-assed doing your work. You don't want to come behind them because you got to redo all the shit. Now, I also work in group homes and I have worked with some of them. And no, they do not understand when working with the mentally challenged. They do not understand any of it. They want to feed them their food. Don't nobody want no goddamn fish head soup and none of that shit. Then this is what they want to feed these individuals. Remember, where I am at, it is primarily white tea. And so when you get into these group homes and nursing homes, it's primarily white tea. In the group homes, and you got these mentally challenged white tea, you cannot bring them in something that nobody understands what it is. You cannot bring in a heart of an animal and think they're going to eat this stuff. You cannot bring in the intestines in the hood. You cannot bring in a whole pig head and think you're going to roast it in the oven and they're going to eat this. Okay. And then they're up here working. They don't understand what our mental illness programs and how we do things. And so they want to punish them. They want to talk down to them. They don't want to take them out on outings and stuff. We get paid for this. We have a vehicle. You can take them on outings. They don't want to do any of that. And they don't want to interact because they don't understand how to interact because they treat them like a child. Then they treat them like a stupid child. Then they treat them like the pet animal. Then they don't talk to them at all. Then they yell at them and talk down to them. You cannot address it that way.
Can I say something about the host title? Can I respond to that question?
Sure.
I don't think African Americans, Black Americans, whoever the heck you want to call us up here that was born here, I don't think we're afraid of being African. I think Africans are afraid of being Black.
Why you say that?
I say that because of the slave held in castles in Ghana, in the West Africa continent. Because think about it. We were stolen and we were corrupted in that time, but some of them sold out too, and they still sell out. They come here, they talk about us. They come here, they don't treat us well. They come here, they don't fight the plight with us. It's a lot of misconceptions about what Black is.
So what is Black to you?
Black to me, honestly, this is Black to me. Black to me is if you have an ancestry or a lineage that fought for your rights in this country, so that fought for you to just be seen as a human. Ain't nobody else fought for that except for the Haitians. In 1791, they're the only Black people outside of America that fought for Black people in America. Everybody else, they were ran over or they submitted. Period.
So okay, hold on.
Y'all please get him because I'm
wait a minute.
lost.
Okay, so sir, you said first. I'm gonna go ahead and let C3 cook because we didn't get stolen from Nigeria or Africa. We always been here. Okay.
Exactly.
Now, when it comes to
you see, you can say that about yourself, but you can't say that about everybody else.
I was trying to light a match.
Hold on, I'm trying
to. And I broke the shit in half.
Wait.
So were you stolen? Was your people stolen? Did you come off on a boat? Because maybe you're speaking about your own lineage. We don't know. Maybe that could be your lineage.
One mic, y'all.
We were also sold. It's proof out there. The Ghanaian president or the leader, the tribal chief, he even said he was sorry. They got it.
I'm sorry to who? They sold themselves. He needs to apologize to his people. He probably sold his parents. Don't apologize to me.
Hold on, y'all. Let me just get this out and I'm gonna mute up. Because we haven't yet. Now hold on, D. Wait a minute. First of all, when who you say Ghana president approached and said he was sorry, he was talking to the African descent, right? He wasn't talking to us. So don't interrupt me. Let me finish. He wasn't talking to us. We're not African descent. I mean, seriously, we're not. Okay. So who he was talking to was.
Why you got a problem with what I'm saying?
Man,
I'm saying we need to take care of each other. We shouldn't worry about Africans.
No, we don't. No, we don't. Because all skin folk ain't kin folk. Stop playing with us. What you mean? What do you mean? Now let me finish.
Erased a whole bunch of wars.
I gotta get it out so I can finish.
Can I say something?
Can you wait until I finish talking?
Yeah,
please. I'm trying not to be long.
This always happened with our community.
No, don't worry about the community. Because if you knew what was going on with the community, you would know that it was other melanated people, right? Stop. Don't look at nothing. Why you keep getting off the mic? And you see, I'm trying to hurry up and get done talking because other people want to talk. You said a whole bunch of stuff out of your mouth that's not true. Okay, first of all, I'm in the year 1100s. None of my people came from Africa, and it's no disrespect to Africa. The first people who were labeled as Afrikaners were white tea people. Okay, what we're talking about skin color? Yeah, them. Okay, so what I'm saying is this: don't sit up here and talk about our people had to fight for freedom. We were already free. We had indentured servitude here. Have you ever heard of that? First of all, show me, like I say, show me one boat that's gonna take somebody from Africa to here without a plane, right? Show me one. Show me one water device, one ship that ain't got no wood and that's using or relying on the wind. Show me one that's gonna bring anybody from America to Africa. You can't. So
They
all of
don't
that
do it
stuff that
today
you
without
talking, you gotta go
technology.
look
They
at.
still don't do that shit. What you talking about?
Go ahead, C3, my bad.
I just wanted to say you definitely erased a bunch of wars. When you said only the Haitians fought to free people in the Americas, you erased a lot of indigenous
outside
tribes.
of America. Africa didn't do shit. They still to this day don't do shit. They the
I'm not even
majority.
talking about Africa. I'm talking about what you said based off of only in the Americas. That there was a bunch of indigenous tribes that was island hopping to territory hopping, helping out the other members of different tribes to help free them
Yeah, I got a
throughout the
question
Americas.
for Wick.
Original Haiti was here on the mainland before that. Go ahead.
Yeah, but they took Israel to the ICC before they took America to the ICC for us.
What do we need to be taken to America for when we were already here?
The
What you
black,
talking
the
about?
whatever Holocaust. Look.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Omar.
I'm trying to
You said
be
you had a
respectful,
question.
but look, I understand what y'all saying. I done read about this stuff too, about that there's a possibility. This ain't nothing really proven because they burnt all the history in effect.
No, it's not. No, it's not. So let somebody else go ahead, Omar.
Okay,
Hey,
so
Wick.
let me go. Go ahead,
So let me-
Omar. Go ahead.
Hey, Wick, let me ask you this, brother. What's your position as it pertains to so-called Black Americans saying that they're indigenous to this land? Like, what's your position in response to that?
Honestly, if we could rally behind that and unify behind that, that's the best damn option. That's the best option.
Rally behind what?
We
Being
have a
African?
lot of features that's not like them Africans.
Okay.
So I'm just and I don't really care. I care about humanity out there, but they have never fought and tried to get us or help us. Maybe y'all right because we not from there. But I don't care about that stuff. That's far in the past. I'm talking about today. We need unity. So if we can unify around being indigenous, then that's even better because we have a right to the land.
Sir, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
But you can't force it on people. You can't tell people to say.
Ask you a question real quick, and I'm gonna let Omar finish because I want to know when have you seen Africans stand up for us? That's it.
No, he said he hasn't
Never
seen
saw
it.
them stand up for us. Never.
Yeah, so
I
let me
only
ask you
see
this,
us
brother.
standing up for ourselves. We don't.
So-
We've been long.
Yeah, he already clarified that, y'all. So, brother, let me ask you this: how can we unify if we have division amongst our people who are subscribing to the out of Africa theory, to the Atlantic slave trade theory? They deny that their ancestors may have possibly have been here prior to some type of slave trade. How can we unify without connecting certain dots?
Honestly, that is for the chiefs. Okay, I'm an Indian. I'm not a chief. I don't have that know-how. But I do have an opinion. I do have a perspective. And a lot of people, like he said, he don't deserve a voice. Misinformation. That's the problem. Because when people come with what we actually need, we need a different perspective, a different paradigm. Every time somebody come with that, y'all shun them. Y'all take their black card. It doesn't matter. Y'all eat each other. We eat each other. We kill each other. We need to stop it.
Unalive each other.
Y'all put fruits in the chat.
Unalive
fruits
each
in the
other. We
chat.
need to
Hold
stop
on,
it,
sir.
bro.
Hold on,
Like-
sir. Man, go ahead, host.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, drop some fruits in the chat, y'all. Make sure, we keep the live clean because I got suspended yesterday. Keeping it clean live, so yeah. Y'all go ahead.
Brother, you're not really opposed to so-called Black Americans claiming that they're American Indians. You're not opposed to that, right?
No, not at all. I have no opposition to that. If that could be proven and I could go take a test instead of Ancestry, go take a real test and it shows that I'm Indian, or even if I got like 20% of it, I'm rocking it. I'm rocking it.
Okay, so question, why were you talking about the guy and giving us talking about he's sorry? If we're not African and you don't subscribe to that,
Because
why
there was a portion of us that came,
why do you
that
care
was
that the
black.
Ghana
There was a
president
portion of
gives us an
Africans
apology?
that did come here from on boats. They sunk them in the Caribbean, bro. And that's my problem. That's my only problem with the indigenous community. Y'all, the black indigenous community, they keep on just trying to trample over it. No matter what you say, we got proof in the pudding decades ago that we've been fighting for a cause. So now you're gonna tell me that, like, you get what I'm saying? You got to come with proof, because
If I
Martin
got
Luther
proof
King
right
didn't
now, can we
didn't
hush
say
him
that.
up and let
You know
me
what I'm
show the
saying?
proof? Can we?
I
No,
Can we
didn't
hush
say
him
that.
up and
You
let
know
me
what I'm
show the
saying?
proof?
out of Africa. Nowhere.
Your
I'm in
family, you're not
Barbados.
the
I'm
whole
in
So let's do a
Jamaica.
law,
I'm
Miss
in
Stacy.
Europe.
Miss
But
Stacy,
I'm,
hold
I'm
up,
all over,
y'all.
but I'm
I
not
think
there.
some
Hold
people
on,
did
Miss
once
come from
again.
Stacy,
Africa, but not everybody did.
Because y'all's talking to me like I don't
Juicy.
know my bloodline. How
Yeah.
y'all know that I didn't? I
Then
Can
why
didn't
I
are you
come
get
from
so
that.
worried about what the
Doris? Can
African
I
Hold
get
on,
community
one
if
Juicy
sec,
it's
one
not
sec.
Green?
Yeah,
you?
yeah. Can we
I
get one
can't
mic,
hear
please?
y'all.
Yeah, can we get? Hold on, you might have to. You said you have a bad connection, Juicy.
Oh, okay, so we're gonna see that this right here is the 1740 Negro Law. South Carolina, United States didn't become a country until 1776. Okay, we're going to concentrate on Section 4. Section 4 say the term SLs is confined. The term Negro SLs is confined to the ancient Berber and their descendants, not meaning the free inhabitants of Africa, such as the Egyptians, the Moors, or the Negro Asiatics, the Lascars. So the term SL was confined to the ancient Berber and its descendants, the Ottomans. I'm gonna put them out there who they is, the Ottomans. Okay. Hello. Now, if you are Ottoman, then all them 12 million people and all that kind of whatever propaganda stuff, you may be a part of that, right? Because they did have a whole flood of Ottomans all up and down the East Coast. Woo, so many. They call Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and El Salvadorians and whatnot today. So that's the law in 1740 in South Carolina, the law.
Can I ask something?
Not no fairy tale story.
I don't have no fairy tale story.
Wait a minute. Hold on. And I'm still I ain't talking to you.
I
And
don't
if
even have
you
to
want
write
to
this song.
use slavevoyages.org, right? In the beginning of their synopsis, it says estimated. And when you use the word estimate, it means you stuck your thumb wherever and pulled it out and saw what you saw. Okay, you estimated you had that much going on. That is all it is. It was not an accurate actual count. It was just a guess, a theory, which is also a guess. Okay, now I'm going.
All of it is a guess, bro. They burnt history. They took control. Like
they ain't burnt nothing, honey. My family line goes back to the 44th dynasty, BCE. No, sir. That is incorrect information that you are trying to provide.
Yeah, I'll somebody hasn't spoke up here. They can go ahead and speak. They can. That
is there anybody in the audience
Yeah,
that
what I was saying, good afternoon, how you guys doing?
What's up?
What's up, man? What I was saying is like the problem is it's not like we hate African. We don't have a problem with African. We just have like the African has a problem with us when we say we are indigenous, we are not African. So why is that a problem? That is my question to the African community. We never say we hate African. We just say we are not African. Why, when we claim our heritage and they have a problem with that?
Do we have any opposition in here? I want to make space for some opposition.
I want somebody to answer me that question because me as a Haitian, right, you just mentioned, I'm from Haiti. I'm a Haitian indigenous to this continent. So I've never been enslaved, and I have no
Mm.
African heritage.
You know, I think the big reason that they get so up in arms is because they're over there looking for any piece of wood or rubber or anything, any way they can get over here, finally make it over here. They idolize us, as a young man was just saying. They finally make it over here. They get over here. They're told, don't mess with us, this, that, and the other. But secretly, they want to be us so nobody else look like us. You know what I'm saying? Oh, someone that kind of resembles and looks like me, but I ain't you because I don't eat the same thing you do. We don't smell the same. We don't cook the same. We don't walk, nothing. Because I'm going to tell you, I have worked with them. And listen, they will sell me out for that boss that is YT. You understand what I'm saying? I have seen them get people fired. I have seen them do some crazy stuff trying to make sure they keep their little job. And they will bury their nose all up in that behind. Okay? They will throw you underneath 4 buses, drop 4 buildings on you to make sure they're going to have them a job Monday morning. I've seen it. We have where I'm at, large community, large community. We got little Liberia, little Somalia, we got little Tijuana.
Mm.
Did y'all
To
see
re-
that video
to
of
respond to her point.
the U.S.
Hold on.
bishop who went to Kenya and he was teaching that Jesus was black, and then the Kenyans they tried to attack the bishop. Did y'all hear about that? That just came up.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, I heard about that.
That's crazy.
You know,
See, I believe that though because they idolize them. They get around us and talk about them, but it's not because pay attention where they live. Like I said, I got a large community. You know what lives across the street from me? Some Somalians. You know what lives down the street from me? Some Venezuelans. The other side of me, some more Somalians. The other side of that, some YTs. She got a little mixed baby. You understand what I'm saying? But you notice I didn't say no Liberians, Ugandans, Beni, Toga. I didn't say none of that. Guess where they live? They all live out there in Little Liberia, or they out there with YTs, way the hell out there, the other side of the river out there. They do not live in the inner city. I promise you. They live out in the suburbs. They like it out there. They want to live right out there underneath Mister.
Can I just respond to her inconsistent point where she said that the Haitians fled from Louisiana? They actually, there's history, there's documentation, there's proof. They fought and they won.
brother.
They didn't just flee. They won. They kicked the French behinds. What did we do? We're still in servitude right now. And if we're indigenous, oh my Lord, I just can't believe that it's not easy for us to get a land right. Y'all got all the treaties, y'all got all the documents, y'all so smart on this stuff. Why don't we have
because I'm
Yeah, I have one second. I have family that never lost land.
Let them
Like,
know. Let them know.
like it's a family by family basis. And last
So you're telling
time
me you're a gatekeeper.
who's a
I have
gatekeeper, sir?
formalin in here.
Because who's a gatekeeper, sir?
Let him
Do
finish.
that land.
Don't try to insult. Let him finish.
Yeah, I was about to say, sir, my folks ain't give up their shit. My folks built towns and stuff. I have family members that built towns. I'm from Maryland. We have a lot of family we have a lot of people that's wealthy that been free. Ain't no gatekeeper nothing. Like ain't no gatekeeper nothing, right? Folks that been free. This goes throughout a lot of different states: Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Louisiana, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama had free people of color in their territories. Hold on one second, C3.
So why don't y'all
my bad.
why don't y'all teach everybody else this stuff that
What do you think you're on my panel for? What do you think I do, sir?
That's what we're doing.
I was going to say, well, what do you think I do? Have you scrolled through my page? You must be new here.
but we still classified as U.S. citizens, is what I'm saying. So
Who's still classified as a U.S. citizen?
The ones that are, you get what I'm. That's why I say gatekeeping, not the disrespect.
I'm not gatekeeping. I'm not gatekeeping shit. If you ask me questions, I'll answer it. So if you have a question, why don't you answer instead of being ignorant? You don't know shit about me, dude. You just came up on my panel.
And man, that was very disrespectful. He keeps saying we, like, just ask us a question. We don't fall in the same category. That's it.
Okay, this is my question. With all due respect, that's why I ain't gonna argue with the host. You right. So for the people, because I didn't sign nothing. I didn't sign my rights away or my land away. Somebody in my ancestry did, I guess, because I'm an American citizen. how do we go about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we get out of it?
Do your
Because
genealogy.
everybody could say, like, you know, you're not black, you're not African, or you know, you're this or you're that, but like, what's the solution?
Do your genealogy. That's what people have been saying. Do your family tree. Find out what your family did, right? You can find out what your ancestors did, what land they owned, how much real estate they had, all types of things. You can find land patents. You can find land grants. You can find out they were disenfranchised in any other way, had businesses stolen, land stolen, houses stolen, farms stolen. It's so many things that you can find out once you research your family history. There's plenty of ways to go about that. Start by talking to your family.
Could I assist the little brother for a minute? What he's
Go ahead.
asking?
Go ahead.
Yeah. How you get out of it, like we all were put into it. And that's just exactly what you said. You are American or a United States citizen. And we all been put into that category, and we all agreed to it voluntarily, unbeknownst to us, not knowingly. Our parents and everybody else signed us up for that. So it's a voluntary thing. But you can't. Exactly. It deals with all of that. The birth certificate, the Social Security, all of that. You became a United States citizen, which is not an American. It's a U.S. citizen. You belong to the corporation called United States, like everybody else does.
Yeah,
But you can
believe that
renounce
point right there that we belong.
Say it again.
I believe that last point you just made.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Go ahead, y'all, because my son's talking to me.
Yeah,
go
so
ahead.
there is a way out, bro. And you're talking to someone that's out of the system, okay? And what it has to do is just like you're in the
Why you out of
system.
the system on this
Hold
cell
on.
phone? Speaking
Hold
of
on.
this.
Hold on. Let him finish. Let him finish.
Okay. Let me
Go ahead.
finish, because I can prove everything I'm saying. I don't know how you doing it, but there's a way out. Just like you got into something, you can get out, my brother. You just have to, I'm not gonna he can tell you, like, over this broadcasting system or whatever, but it's ways and out. And what you have to do, because I was in the same position you were at years and years ago, not really knowing what to do, not what questions to ask, not how to go out even about it. But through years and years of searching and researching, I have found it like other people have found it. And just like I said, it's about getting out, and it's about renouncing your citizenship. You can't be in some.
You got to go to like a counselor to do it. So.
No, bro, no.
And then you become.
No, you cannot.
But I wouldn't want to go to them and tell them, like, hey.
No, bro. All of this is done through yourself. Okay. And this is how, like I said, it's a lot of people, they're doing the same thing you've been doing, and they've been searching, and you'll see them getting in trouble. It's because they are onto the right thing, but they just don't know the proper procedures and ways of doing it. That's all it is. They're right in the way they feel, that they don't feel like they're not this person. They're not a part of the system and everything else. It's just the point in fact that they don't know, like I said, the process and procedures of doing the correct things and getting out of the system. Standing on your rights. All of this got to do with your rights. Your God-given rights. You are your own free person. Nobody has the right to dictate to you what you can and cannot do. Okay? As long as you're not harming or trespassing on another person's rights. That's what I'm telling you is facts. And well, like I said, it can't be told in this brief little panel we have up here. All you got to do is start researching. And you mentioned the Moors. Some of them are on to it, but like I said, you'll see, you know, it's a lot of dirty ones too. A lot of them don't even know what they're doing. And this is why, like I said, they're on the right track, but they don't know the proper process and procedures of getting out of it. You know, you can say just like this. You can say and scream to your lungs fall out, I have rights, I have rights. You do have rights, right? But you really don't if you don't know how to stand on them. Okay? So you have to know, you know, the process and procedures of getting out of this system. And it's the beginning, like I said, all you got to do is start researching, renouncing your citizenship. You know, you got to learn how to become your own person, take over your own person. And person is a big word that you need to research when I say person, because they don't call you a flesh and blood human being. They call you a person, and a person is not a real person. It goes deep, bro. It goes deep. But there is a way out of this system. And like I said, I don't use their state IDs or anything like that. You know, I've taken control of my birth certificate. The only identification I ever use, and this is universal, it's dealt with the federal, is a passport. Okay? I don't drive using a license. I use a passport. So when somebody tell you there's no way of getting out, that, trust me, I'll put $1 million on there, on that. There's a way out of this thing. But like I said,
Put $1 million
I can't.
You use the passport, you still in the system, because I don't know what you're talking about. And you on the cell phone talking to us with the FCC, still their system.
Okay, I'm not referring. I'm not referring to like.
I don't know.
I'm not referring to like. I'm not referring to watching television or, you know, what I'm talking about.
Passport.
Is correcting your.
I'm correct.
Are you a national? Are you a national?
I'm an American national. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
what color is your passport book?
My passport is black, and I have 4 stars on it. And I guarantee you.
Okay, he'll immigrant. Okay.
I guarantee you can't. You won't find that.
Yeah, I was about to say.
None of you guys have that.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. U.S. nationals or American nationals are under the Department of Interior.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they still deal with you still have to deal with the Department of Interior if you're a U.S. national.
I'm not a U.S. national. It's a difference between U.S. and American national.
Okay, so are you like what American country?
Trust me.
Are you in hold on, what American country?
What do you mean, what American country?
Yeah, American country. American national. There's different countries in America that are dealing with nationals.
Him. He's trying to say
have you
American from the continent.
There's 35 countries
right.
in the continent of America.
American national. That means the whole, that's the whole continent. So when you say what country, I don't know.
So just like you have right here in the US, we should all have right in the whole continent.
Right.
Because we are indigenous to this continent. That is the mission.
Exactly. It's no state. When you talk about individual things, you can be a state citizen, okay?
And then being an American continental man. There's a two different thing. You know what happened is it's almost 200 million indigenous in this continent, but they separate us from each other.
Oh wow!
So we don't know each other's history.
Yeah.
Could I ask a question about how did I looked it up, and there's a lot of fees that you have to pay to advocate your citizenship, and were you able to advocate it without paying those fees? Because it's like, why would I want to give the United States any money?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Just in regards, I'm gonna tell you one of them. Just in regards to like a name change, I did a fee waiver. Okay, so these are things you can do. Like I said, I'm very knowledgeable about this. Can't nobody tell me that you can't get out. It's called a fee waiver, and these are things you can do as an American national.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everything I'm stating right now, you can look it up.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm aware, and you still have to deal with the
yeah,
Department of Interior.
yeah. You have to deal with it because you first of
Yeah,
all
and
you
then
put
and
these
then
people.
and the
We have
U.S.
more
can
of a
hold on with that national talk. The U.S. can kick you out whenever they want.
What? Who the
Yes,
U.S. can't?
you
The
renounce
U.S.
your
can't kick you
citizenship.
out.
That's you
Yo, can
renounce
I
your
ask y'all a
citizenship.
Let
question?
me
Period.
let me explain to.
Hold on. 1 second. I was about to
Okay.
say, yeah, the U.S. can kick you out since you renounce your citizenship, right? You have
Hmm.
yeah, they can kick you out.
Okay.
This has happened before.
No. Okay. No. Let me explain that to you. They can't kick you out of nowhere because first of all, I told you I'm an American national. That means I belong to this land. The U.S. is foreign to this land. This is what I'm telling you.
Do you
The
have any
U.S.
land?
is
Do you have
foreign
any
to this
land
land.
deeds? Do you have any land grants or land deeds?
Do I? No, land grants or land grease? No.
No, none
I'm
of your
just asking
family.
a
So
question.
you have. Yeah, I was about to say.
Oh,
So you have.
my
Yeah. Do you
my
have land grants and land deeds that
yes,
are passed
my
down?
family. Yeah, I'm from here, so it's no
Yeah,
way
does
they.
your
Where are they gonna kick me out to?
Okay, I was about to say. I was asking you. Does your family have land deeds?
Yeah, we have land. We have ownership of land. We have all of that. But
Like the
that
deeds?
has
Was that
that
passed
has
down?
nothing to. Yeah, I know
No.
what that. We
Yeah,
have
land
fee.
deeds.
What
hold
you
on,
what's
hold on.
what's
The
better
host,
than
hold on,
that
hold on,
is
hold on.
what
The
you would
host, the
want.
host
What you
talking
would
about
call a
air.
fee simple.
Hold on,
I'm
he's
talking about
talking
Okay.
about
airship. Yeah,
airland,
do you have
airland.
airship? Yeah, do you have airship?
Yeah, that's fee simple. Look up the word fee simple. I trust me, I've been down all of this, but it has nothing to do
No,
with
I'm
none
talking.
of that.
I'm talking about land that's passed down from your family. Airship.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
We
that's
have
what I'm
land.
asking. Do you have
Yeah,
the land grant? the
right.
the allodial title. Do you have that?
Exactly. A lotto title, fee simple. Look all those words up. I'm aware of all of that, brother.
I'm asking if you have that. Like,
Yes,
what are we
I
talking
said it a
about?
million times. Yes.
Okay, cool, fine.
Yep, I have that. So no, they can't kick you out. What I'm saying, even if I didn't, I don't know if you were saying that because if you like you were saying if you have to have that in order for them not to. There's nowhere they can kick me out. Nowhere. If anywhere,
Well,
anything, they have to.
I'd advise people if they're going to go down this route, make sure your family has land. That's airship to them. Like this national stuff, you're seen as a foreigner to the corporation.
Exactly. There are foreigners to this land. United States and America is two different places. This is what you must realize.
I'm aware of all of that.
Right. In the United States, then you're aware United States is not the land. America is the land.
But if they want you gone,
Right.
they can get you gone.
If they want you gone, where they gonna get you gone to?
Anywhere.
Well, that's with anybody. If you want to say that.
I was about to say the only quote
Yeah.
unquote true sovereignty, right, is if you
Yeah.
can protect it, you own it.
Right. I mean, that's what I mean. If they want to take your land, they're gonna take your land. If you have a feast, I mean, this is the point of them being unlawful and being what we call pirates.
It's not even
Okay?
about being unlawful. The courts uphold land grants and airship.
I'm just saying, then if they're gonna uphold the law, then they're gonna uphold the law, and you dealing with your nationality, you being an American national. All of this is law. All of this is in their books. So if they're gonna uphold the law, that's what I'm saying. They're gonna go. And what you're saying is true. It's all law, and it deals with law. So, but they can't just say, "Well, I'm not gonna uphold this part and get rid of this part." You know what I mean? Otherwise, they're just pirates. Just like some of the police are. They're just pirates. When you're standing on your rights, they can still do whatever they want. See, that's the misconception people got wrong. Even if you know your rights, most of these so-called police, they only go to school or training for 6 months, people. They don't know law. What they know is procedures, okay? And these are commercial and company procedures. So it's not about law. Most of them are just going to school for like training for 6 months. So when they meet someone who's standing on law, a lot of times they have no idea what
What's
they're
up? Hey,
doing,
Woody.
and they still will arrest you. But that's why you don't have to become, vagrant and, all of this other stuff. You just take care of that in court. You take care of that a lawful way. When you know law, you don't have to get upset and, you know what, I'll take care of this.
You don't
I'll handle
even
this.
need to. I was about to say you don't even need to announce you become a national, right? Indian is a status.
Exactly. It's in
I was about to say, hold
right,
on one
brother.
second. Indian is a status that recognizes you as Aboriginal.
Mhm.
So you can get, it's different ways you can get recognized, right?
Right.
And if
right.
you want to, if you're of Aboriginal status, right, which is
Mhm.
Indian or anything else that falls under different U.S. codes, right? I'm just gonna give people a
Right.
different perspective to everything, right? With that being said, the U.S. corporation works for you if you're Aboriginal.
Thank you. So, and saying that, piggyback on that, once you get everything corrected, like your standing and your status, all that's in their system. So when they do bring you up and pull you up, they know exactly who you are. There won't
right.
be no arguments or fighting. Okay? It's simple as that. There's no arguments, fighting, this and that. Once you did the proper procedures, like I said in the beginning, and processes, did everything you need to do to change your status and standing, then, and again, we deal with the Secretary of State. Everything we do is lawful. Ain't nothing we doing is like illegal, or because we're dealing with these people at the highest level, okay? At the highest level, that's what we're dealing with. People at the highest level. So they know exactly who you are. Once everything is done and everything is correct, then after you ever have contact with them and they punch you up, they know exactly who you are. That's it.
Yo, Kelly. Yo.
Yeah.
Isn't that the same thing though? Because the people that get a birthright or whatever, I don't know the exact term y'all using different terms, US American and stuff. So I'm just saying birthright to not be disrespectful. So
Yeah,
people
go
that
ahead,
get their birthright, y'all don't got the sovereignty. You, King Kelly, you just said, bro, we do everything lawful. They didn't do anything lawful when they massacred us. So why do we keep on as a people saying that we could get along and get along? Like, when is the war gonna come? That's the only way. Think about it. The Palestinians right now, they have a right to that land. They have the right. They have it. And guess what happened? The colonial people, they don't care. They're killing, they're unaliving them. They don't care. So that shows you the proof is in the pudding. If you ain't willing to sacrifice and go to war, then it don't matter which system you in. You don't have no sovereignty. Period.
Let me, what you just said. I'm gonna talk about what you just said. Now, when you say they slaughtered us, who are the us they slaughtered, and what were they? What were their status and standing?
Smallpox blankets. Smallpox blankets. They slaughtered the Incas. They slaughtered the Aztecs. They slaughtered the Palestinians.
Okay.
They slaughtered the Congo. They slaughtered their own people in the European. It's not really a continent, but they even did it in Europe. Well, they do it everywhere. The Romans did it to Jesus Christ.
I know that history as well.
When will we see that these people not human?
I ain't talking about when they first got here.
I'm not trying to be a part of their like. I respect everything y'all have, because y'all are people with some common sense to know about treaties and to actually know about American documents.
Trust me, brother. Trust me.
Bro, hats off to y'all. But my only problem is, I'm an Indian. I'm a foot soldier. I'm not trying to be intelligent. I'm not trying to lead the masses.
Right.
So this is what
you're
I'm
right,
saying.
bro.
This is what I'm saying. I want my people to give me my birthright. So if you got the paperwork, you got the know-how, you got the lawful common sense,
Fruits in the chat,
let all of us, that's what we need to utilize the gangbangers for. Instead of harming each other, we need to go to war.
Bro,
you know what the way. And talking about the kids gonna be enslaved for eternity if we don't.
So this is what it is. You absolutely right. And I've been down that road. And I know about trust. I'm a fucking warrior, bro. Okay? I've been down that road. I can show you videotapes of me standing up to fucking 12 squad cars and talking shit to them and doing all of that shit. But you know what? Let me tell you something, bro. You have to be very careful out here, and you have to check your attitude and your temper. You know what I'm saying? Because that'll get you gone real fast. You have to think before you react these days. So what I'm saying is, now as a group of people, we haven't done what we supposed to be doing. That's what we haven't done. Individually, you can only take care of yourself and your loved ones. If you can even do that, bro. This is all you.
Sure.
I'm telling you with love, man. I love all you guys on here, and they don't never want us to come together. But I'm telling you, there is no fucking we. You understand that? There is no we, because when you go to court, who's in court? You're in there by yourself. When you're signing contract, who's signing the contract? You're signing that contract by yourself. When you're signing, everything is you, bro. So what I'm telling you is you got to do you first, okay? You got to do you first, bro. And then you're able to take care of your loved ones by your actions and the things you show. I'm from that Indian tribe called the Show Me tribe, okay? So what I had to do to my family, bro, even through trial and error, bro, learning this stuff, I'm telling you, I had to learn the hard way, bro. I've been arrested before, but I had to learn the law.
I have a question for you. As those people from the Caribbean was also indigenous, as those people go about those things?
You could become a national too, as a someone that's
dude,
from
Yes, this is all this. So what I'm saying, and brother, I was Brother Week. I agree with you, bro. But what I'm saying, 90% of our people haven't went down this road. Like I said, we can scream and yell, we got rights, we got this, I'm a sovereign, I'm this and that, but you haven't, when you go into court and say you sovereign, how you gonna show you sovereign? Where your damn paperwork
I'm
at?
not trying
When
to.
did you file with
That's the thing. I'm not trying to
Oh,
go
he
the
was using that.
traditional Western way of getting
He was
sovereignty.
using that as a metaphor.
The Eastern
Oh.
world
Right,
do
right.
not. The Eastern world
Hold
do
on.
not bow when they oppose
Hey, Vic,
America
Vic,
and the
hold
West.
on, hold
They
on,
go
hold
to
on,
war.
hold on. Let
They
me
get
say
they
something
get
real
the
quick.
weapons that America's have.
Hold on. Just let me say something real quick. Goddamn. Everybody, please tap the screen up.
Yeah,
Let's get to
Woosah.
20K.
Yeah, let's get to 20K,
Let's chill real quick. TikTok. This is for entertainment, educational purposes only. No hate speech, bullying, harassment, discrimination, or racism. Anyone's allowed on this platform. Just please be respectful. Please use TikTok safe words. Let's put some fruits in the chat. Do not put F1 in the chat. Do not. Just say
We love
TikTok
everybody.
shop or something like that, right? I just wanted to add something real quick. Now, when you do your everything that made you, okay? Me, myself personally, I found airlines, multiple of them, okay? Found out my people's not from Africa. I found out a whole bunch of other shit too. What I understand is this. When you are the heir, I wouldn't even say the descendants, but when you are the heir to the people who actually created everything, who actually has always been here, to me, in my eyes, that's really all you need. Now, as far as dealing with courts, unless you're actually bringing the court to you, I don't understand being summoned to court. Do you get what I'm saying? We're not unalived. Number one, the best thing to do is own your name, okay?
There you
Your
go.
name, the
That's
birth certificates
part of
and
the
all of that type
process.
of stuff. Yeah, hold on. Own your name, all right? Update them land patents. It's a lot of stuff. You cannot update them land patents. Okay, let me tell you what let me tell you what these birth certificates is about. This is what made us minorities, because our people never fought to vote. Okay.
It's a
Why
bond.
would
It's
we
money.
vote when hold on, let me get this out because I can lose my train of thought. When you understand that voting was never for us, it still isn't to this day. If you are the people who descended from the people who's the heir of the land, right? Why do you need to vote? Number two, politics has nothing to do with skin color. But these nationals, these people on reservations and all of that, I don't know if a lot of people know that makes you an agent. Okay? You are an agent. That means you get a membership card, okay, which is an employee card. You actually are allowing these people to give you bits and pieces of your own trust. Now, these natives that's been on these reservations, they have been stealing, they have stolen our identities. They go through our records and self-identify as us, okay? And they have access to our trust accounts that we don't know about, quote unquote, okay?
And that's my point
So when you enter,
exactly.
hold on,
Why are
let
we
me land my
allowing
plane.
it?
Let me land my plane. As long as anybody continue to allow people to label you who the fuck they want you to be labeled as, they will continuously be in control. The only way these people cannot label you is when you know who the fuck you is. And the best way to know who you is by doing your genealogy, not DNA tests. DNA tests are for entertainment purposes only. They don't even use countries. They use regions, okay? African diaspora or African diaspora, their whole map is the Americas. Have nothing to do with Africa, okay? So what I'm saying is this. Taylor, make your name. When they send you stuff in all caps, just realize it's cap as fuck. When you apply for a school, for a job, for welfare, they need your signature. They need your 2 forms of ID so they can go into your trust. So these people go into your trust and tell you how much they feel you're worth, $13 an hour, $19 an hour. But they're using your money. When you go and lease a vehicle, they're not trying to find a bank to back you because the banks need us, right? They go into the Treasury Department and go through your trust, through the Department of Interior, okay? So by them going through your trust, they're basically they're paying you what they want to pay you out of your own shit. So when you understand that,
Isn't that
United
grounds?
States,
Isn't that grounds for revolution? Not law work or being a lawyer or anything.
what do you mean? We have never
all
stopped
across
being
all
at war.
across
We are.
civilizations.
Hold on,
people,
listen.
Oh, my bad.
Listen. No, you good. We have been in war, right? I'm just gonna give it a date. 1776. We still in that same war. Okay? It just looks different. All right. Now, when you understand that every foreigner that comes over here, bro, they're naturalized citizens, while we are U.S. citizens. U.S. citizens pay taxes. They pay for these people to become a parent over their own trust and their lands. Okay? So that means gather your own. You got to go within. We can't unite at this time until we unite back with ourselves. You get what I'm saying? So just
Individualism is the
imagine. Hold
reason
on, I'm
why
about
we
to
in
land
this
my plane. I'm
predicament.
about to
We
land
can't
my
even get
plane.
1,000 people on one command.
That ain't about that, because it's not about the weapon. It's the force behind it.
No,
You don't see. Let me finish, and I'm gonna be done, so you can hear what I'm saying, brother. Trust me. I have 5 children. Okay, my oldest is 23. All right, so I do give a fuck. I wouldn't even be on this app. I'll be tending to them. All right.
Right.
So what I'm saying is this: you have to focus on self. Imagine if everybody in the world started focusing on their own genealogy and started realizing who the fuck they is and all this other shit, right? That will prevent people, right, from falling for anything. Number 1. Number 2, that will stop people from stealing your shit. These people are mostly skin folk that we were in WAR with, that we're still in WAR with today, bro. They're skin folk. But they have put these people in position of power, these recessive ones. So all I'm saying is this: I want to mute this mic because there's so much information out there. This is the time. We hearing what Trump is talking about. This is the time. Do your motherfucking genealogy. Stop allowing people to control the narrative of who the fuck you is. Because trust me, majority of these people get paid. They get paid to come on panels and start websites and shit to lie, because they benefit from it. Period. Just like you see motherfuckers in the comments that want to laugh and they want to sit up here and you know what I'm saying, change the goalposts, because these motherfuckers benefit from it. They're thieves. That's what they do. And guess what? Guess who been paying for all of it? Us. These motherfuckers is the reason why they said that all this gold and shit come from Africa when it's really coming from here. These Pan-Africans, bro, literally have Pan-African companies. The Pan-African companies are these do you even know that all of the African countries are Pan-African countries? You know these motherfuckers make from $4,000 to $13,000 a month, $80,000 to $200,000 a year to lie and steal from you. So
I can believe that.
But brother, all I'm just telling you, and I'm gonna land I'm finna mute my mic. Just do the genealogy. There's so many people out here that can help. If you follow me, I could give them your information and you can go from there.
I have genealogy classes every Saturday and Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern time on Discord.
So the sister just told you a whole lot, bro, and I'm just loving because I already know she's in the know. So it's a lot of things out. It ain't something that's gonna happen in the blink of an eye overnight. Like I said, you got to stop saying that we stuff, because of that lot of we is the people that fucking put you in chains. In the chain gang. Yeah. It's those same people. It ain't really the white tea people. It's people that look like just you and me. Okay? So you have to be careful. And that's why I said, take care of yourself. Self comes first, bro. You have to. How you going to take care of other people when you can't take care of yourself? Come on. You can't wait for somebody to take care of you either. We got to get together. We got to. Nah, bro. I've been saying that shit for the longest as well, bro. I wanted to fight that fight too. Man, why we can't get together? We can't come together if our lives depend on it. And we damn sure can't, bro. So that's why I'm telling you, I'm trying to get you to focus on self. Self first. Get yourself right. And then you're going to find out the truth in everything. Now you can help your loved ones. And then you can come together as a people and help others. That's where it starts, bro. Self. Trust me. I know I'm older than you. I've been down this road, bro. I've been in this thing a long time.
Esther Crutcher in the comments. You can't talk about anybody hating anything because your people steal everything. Y'all don't even know how to hate y'all selves because y'all don't know y'all selves. Y'all steal everything and pervert it. Okay, so stop with that.
But yeah, I suggest to get you started with, I suggest you talking to your family, talk to your elders, whoever, the oldest people that's alive in your family, and that will help you get started for sure.
Yeah, I could try that method, man, but it'll be hard. But I hear what y'all saying, man, and I done heard these talking points before and stuff like that. And I honestly, that's why I say I think if there's anything that makes sense, what y'all say makes sense because y'all could show treaties. Like I have never seen the Pan-African or even the Black Panthers or anybody. I have never seen nobody pull up a treaty. When I saw a Native American person, that's all the proof I need. Be honest. Yeah. And these people in the comments, some of the people in the comments don't get it.
That's their job, bro.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. And I'm not against people going on different pathways. There's different ways to skin a cat, per se.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, because I'm not opposed to the national thing. I'm not opposed to people that want whatever they want to do. Because I know somebody that has showed me some things how they corrected their status in different ways than I did. So
right. Well, as long as it works, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what. As long as it works.
Yeah, just making sure everybody. Yeah, just make sure you're well educated on these topics.
What don't work though? Like say you
going to jail.
Not
you going to jail.
You mean you get enslaved again?
You're going to jail. You might get jail. You might go to jail. You might get kicked out. That's all I'm gonna say. The country.
Wow.
So, yeah. But the way
I go to jail in Venezuela. Nobody want to go to jail in Venezuela.
No, I don't want to go to jail nowhere. That's hell.
Nowhere, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I ain't trying to go to jail nowhere. I've been there, like I said, little bro. I done done, and like I said, I've been there because of lack of knowledge. And it says our people shall suffer because of lack of knowledge. And but once you gain that knowledge, bro, knowledge is power. You see how that turns around? Lack of knowledge, you shall suffer. But once you gain that knowledge, knowledge is power. So that's the thing. And it's about research, bro. It is, like I said, it's not easy. And it's hard when you don't have nobody helping you, when nobody around you is doing the same thing. And that's why I said this, bro, this is a lonely road. It's going to be the loneliest road if you ever try to, if you hop on that road, you know what I mean? I done lost friends and family members, not literally losing them, but they left behind. And I can't do nothing for them. You know what I mean? Once they, decide to stay on that, the blue pill or the red pill and stay, behind, and then that's their choice. But all I can do is show them And how do I show them? You know, by
Yeah.
showing and proving. You know,
would you say that has some type of, I'm asking, do you think that has any
What's up,
type
Venus?
any type of correlation to when after we were supposedly freed and certain people of that time that look like us, they went to Africa? And then can you, like the same point you made is like, man, I can't save them. They want to stay there and get birthrights and get birth certificates. Because them people at that time are the ones that sold the ones like me out, or anybody that got a birth certificate and a social security card, like they sold us out. If anything, I don't
see what happened in 1933, bro. During that time, and actually during the what we call the civil rights time, what they did was basically, you know, it was one group of people that was, you know, enslaved, which was, you know, our people or whatever. But then they made everybody slaves. Now it ain't just us either. You know what I mean? It's the white tea as well.
Yeah, what you saying? There's proof to show that they put Indians in contexts with people of color and black. Like they put us all in one thing, and it was all messed up. You know what I'm saying? Because even if someone did come from Africa, you mix everybody up and say, oh, you're black, you're a Negro. You know what I'm saying?
So you got to realize too, that's what I'm saying. Way back then, it wasn't about color, bro. Slaves wasn't about color. This is that new era, you know, when this is a new era in time when they just did us.
Probably just a product of racism.
Was the racism now? Well, not
Like
even back then.
All the history of racism now, like we gotta debunk everything that they done, all the propaganda and the psyops that they done ran. We gotta debunk all of that to even start somewhere. And I think that's why we in this state that we in, where we can't get sovereignty, because we got to first worry about the first step, like you said, your birthright, or, you know, working about yourself. You can't change your household if you can't change yourself. You can't change
this
if you can't change
this
your
is what I'm saying. How you gonna change anything when you under contract with them? When you tell me you a U.S. citizen, you ain't about to change nothing. I don't care how
it's about to go to jail.
Yeah, right, because they own you.
Yeah, I
their
believe,
property.
I believe that, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Right.
I want to ask you a question, right?
I believe that we are ex post facto slaves.
Can you allow me to ask you a question, because they know more about this situation, this thing more than me. So can I have a question for you, right? So what is the process? Because there are people that has a green card. There are people that was not born here, that born in the Caribbean, right? And they classified all these people as different group, right? People that's born on the mainland, they call them American citizen or something. And then people that's born in the Caribbean, then they can come here and get their citizenship or something like that. And then they have the green card holders. But they have almost 200 million indigenous in this continent. So how these people go about the situation to claim back their land? Because they are the owner of the continent.
Well, first and foremost, the oppressor gave you that term. The Portuguese, the French, the European, the British. They gave us part of it. That's why I always say, like, is there a way around war? Like, even all these points they good.
Okay, look,
points,
the best thing, look. When you know what you know what I got tired of doing? I got tired of waiting on people to try to, you know what I'm saying, help me. I ain't even gonna cap. I stopped asking so many questions, or I got the understanding that I did, but I started seeking the answers. You get what I'm saying? Like, I want you to take this as a lesson, and that's for anybody in here. Get uncomfortable with people teaching you their rhetoric, right? Even for me, right? Start doing the due diligence and looking up things. And I'm gonna tell you one way you can start if you're using the internet. They gatekeep things from this region, okay? So go clean out your cookies, put your whatever app you're using, Google, whatever, put it on incognito, okay? Change your region. It's a lot of things. Start studying the roots of the words that you're using. Start studying legalese terms, right? because politics deal in a different understanding from what they were trying to teach us the meanings of these words is. I'm just gonna mute my mic for a second and go ahead and let the goddess Meta
Oh, hey,
speak
Meta,
because
how
she
you
can
doing?
give you a better understanding on this stuff. Peace, goddess.
Peace, y'all. I'm actually just tuning in a couple minutes ago, so I don't even know what you guys are really talking about.
Well, so many words. We were talking about, how to get out of sovereignty and your genealogy and how important it is, and stuff like that. So, if you don't mind, just
Well,
adding to it, yeah.
I don't know too much about the sovereignty thing, and the process and so forth. I do understand the I don't know if this word got somebody in trouble last time, but the jack that happened. I do understand that. In the position we were all put in, seeing how they were granted administrators of this land or guardians. So anytime we have land, and it doesn't go in through our family inherited, we end up having these guardians that are appointed or approved by the state. I'm at a loss because I see jacks coming in all different types of directions. And I think we need to have our eyes open. It's not just coming from the Native Americans or the Africans. There are a lot of groups that are trying to claim who we are or what we have. And sometimes the people look just like us. And I think that that's something that we're going to have to be prepared to happen right now at this time, because we're actually seeing it, but our eyes might be shut to it. You see what I'm saying? I know we had the affiliation with Europe. We're seeing it in our genealogy. A lot of us are connecting to Europe. Come on. And these are not melanated people. I'm sorry, these are not YT people. They're melanated people. And in one of my examples, I even found the Moorhead on an emblem. He was melanated, but that's not what they present. He was tied to the crown. We carry all the same names that they do, like King Odo. My grandfather's name was Otha, which is similar. We have the Charles, we have the William, all that, the James. So we actually connect through our genealogy. A lot of people don't talk about it either, but the Holy Roman Empire was here, as well as the Ottoman Empire, which seems to be linked to the Moors. And the Moors like to tie to the Wichita Moors, but they don't like to claim the Ottoman Empire, as well as Moors. However, we know that over in that area, the Ottomans did conquer. The Moroccan, the Ottomans did conquer. And the Wichita Moors talk about the Ottoman Empire. They don't talk about the Moroccan Empire. I have documentation on that. They talk about the Ottomans as well. Their land in Europe, their territory was above ours. Their territory was above ours. It was more further north. And by the beginning of the 1800s, England, Wales, because England and Wales was different. Ireland, all France, even in France, there was some territory where that is, Germany, all that land was Holy Roman Empire. And by the 1800s, it just disappeared. And, we do show that the Holy Roman Empire was here. A lot of us are tying through to those, to the crown through that. And so, I am seeing where a lot of I am, and so through the Holy Roman Empire until I actually saw some documentation of it in a newspaper, and then I'm just like, appeared, and then I'm just like, everybody's going this whole more Holy Roman Empire there and stuff, and there's really no documentation there that, we know what they're saying, but there's no they had to stop WA with each other in Europe before they could do anything here. And I've read this, and that's what those treaties were in Europe. They were resolving their issues there, stop WA can decide what to do with us here. And after I forget which treaty it was. I think it was the Treaty of Versailles. And then a couple of other ones documented that it was through the Holy Roman Empire. It was not through the Moors. So, I'm just torn because it's like people are actually going to prison doing that. Some people are living in the private and they're safe. But some people are going the full out, I don't even know, it's another direction, or I don't know, it seems. And
what
they're
law does that break?
going to jail.
Huh?
Well, the only ones that's going to prison are mainly the ones that's basically the house squatting and stuff like that, And what I was trying to tell little brother down here, bro, this is where everybody, basically, we all became property. You are property of this so-called U.S. And property cannot property. So eventually, when brother was talking about the land patents and the allodial titles and stuff, it don't matter if your parents or whoever left you that property. That's who they're giving it to. They're giving it to property which belongs to the U.S., which is you, your correct standing and status. So of course they can take it anytime, because now your family members have turned over there, unbeknownst to them, unknowingly, unwillingly, they turned and gave their property up and gave it to the property of the U.S., which is you. Because now we're the property, you understand? And we're property due through the name U.S. We do through the name, due through the birth certificate, through the social, due through you calling yourself a U.S. citizen. You are property. You are owned, and property can't own property. So this is the brother was right with the allodial title. The brother was right with the allodial title. You can own it, but property can't own property. And if I have something allodial and I hand it down to my child who has not the correct standing and status, who is the property of the United States, I just gave it away. So of course they
unless I was about to say, folks have gotten land back regardless of their title, right? The thing is, right, because if you have it in a will, they can't take that away from you. You have to have in a will set up through a trust. That's how land gets. Trust. Yes. Trust. Yeah, because when people own land, they have it through trust and they set it up in their will. And that X, Y, and Z gets this amount of land. X, Y, Z gets this amount of land.
Everything is under the trust.
Yeah.
Everything.
And then
property, you put everything in the trust. But that's what I'm saying. Our people, we haven't, our people, that most of our people don't know nothing about trust. And none of our families mention trust at all. You know what I mean? And this is what I'm saying, is this is where we lose everything.
Yeah,
and this
they
is how
actually did. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. They actually did, but they're holding the records of it. So you're right. You know what I'm saying? But it's just what happened around that time is they started to change the letterings. That's what they quote unquote talk about our parents to know how to read or whatever. Our ancestors, yes, they did. They just respelled everything. You get what I'm saying? So, and then they were acting on egalitarianism, which is not equal. So all of these treaties, right? Friendship and peace treaties are beneficiary treaties that these people have signed without our permission. Do you get what I'm saying? They signed with other foreign entities to benefit. It's all about a land grab.
Well, we are the beneficiary, but we turned
Yeah, I
ourselves
know. I'm
into the
just telling him
trustee.
on
Yeah.
what's happening now. So that's why
Yeah.
you have to reclaim.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? I'm basically agreeing with you. I'm just.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
speaking to it.
Yeah, for,
I'm following you.
Do the
yeah,
natives.
hold on one second. I wanted to add on to something. Yeah, because and then also those that don't know, via U.S. code, once you create your own trust, you get Indian status. Once you create your art, what we consider Aboriginal strategy through creating a
Okay.
trust.
So when you tell people that,
because I want to say something, I've been waiting to say something, King.
Okay.
I wanted to respond to what it is that you said, and Darvid just summed it up with what I am saying. People seem to have it all confused that we need, to go up underneath another empire. Like we need to say we're from a Hague country, where we're saying we're not from here, we're from somewhere else, but it's attached to an empire, so it don't matter. Like that's like I used to try to understand that, and I thought I got it, but I don't get it now, because now I've been doing my genealogy. Now I've been connecting all of this through genealogy documentation and records, and I agree with what David is saying. Like, we don't need all that. Our proper status is Indian. They should not be taxing us. Like, we never should have gone into the jack that happened. You understand what I'm saying? Like, our ancestors did not pay taxes. Our ancestors did put everything in trust. They did
right,
do that.
right, and I wish I can show you.
There was a
I can
point.
show you.
I'm not done yet. There was a point where it was just like a delay. And I think I'm almost 50. I think it happened in my grandmother's time. Especially, she was from Mississippi. So especially from that southern South, where there was a disconnection, because they were the ones who were putting them in trust as well too. But what we're seeing is a lot of them were actually on the Indian rolls as babies, but they went under freedmen, or they didn't. You'll see them, but they got denied. Some of them got approved. So with that happening, that big shock just changed their whole lifestyle. You understand what I'm saying? So if we go back to before these birth certificates and these socials and all that, before the jack happened, they were already in their proper status, their right status. So the point that I was making, I don't know if anybody else was making it, but like what I'm saying is I'm tying it to what everybody else is saying about the Moor. And I wanted to say that to you too. That's not true. There are people who are not just, in the street crying
Mute your mic, Serpent.
Crying sovereign citizen or whatever, and getting arrested. No, there's all types of people. Some of them are trying to get the land while they're doing it, and they're just not doing it the proper way. You know what I'm saying? So I think people are going to have a harder route going that way, unless you go up underneath, like they're trying to bring back the Moroccan Empire. You understand what I'm saying? Me personally, from what I read,
One second, Wick, she's not done.
We need to do our genealogy, and when we do our genealogy and we get the genealogical records and documentation and history of who we are, like they said, everything goes in trust. We go in trust, our kids go in trust, our assets go in trust, everything about us goes in trust for protection. And I believe that people just need a federal document saying that they are not Black or African American, saying that you are original to this land. You get a federal document saying that. You proclaim yourself. That's why you get a federal document. If you sign anything, you start signing that off. If you're collecting something, you tell them who you are. You are Indian. You're going to get more by saying that. You understand what I'm saying? I think through these benefits that are coming, Like if you are proclaiming who you are and you have that document, you're going to get more than other people. So we're kind of like saying the same thing, but we're kind of not. And I just want to make that clear. You guys who are going out there changing your status and doing all that paperwork, be very, very, very careful. People are going to present.
Okay, so what I want to say about that is, let me answer that. What this is dealing with is not dealing with your blood rights. Okay, it's not dealing with your unalienable rights. When we're talking about correcting your status, you got to remember these are two different things. You got the private and the public, and you cannot mix the two, period. And this is what a lot of people are trying to do. They're trying to mix the private with the public. If you're going to go private, you got to stay all the way on the private. And when if you go public, then you must know how to operate or navigate in the public. And this is the part when we talk about your status correction and all that.
Shut up, black people.
Hey, get the fuck off this. Yeah, I was about to get him off the stage.
Yeah, all that stuff is dealing with public. So it's learning how to operate in the public. It don't have nothing to do with your blood rights, your land rights and all of that stuff. But again, even with the trust, you have to file the trust with these people, the feds and everything else. So it's all about documentation. You're not dealing with the flesh and blood person. You're dealing with this entity that they created at birth. This is what all this is dealing with. It ain't dealing with the flesh and blood man. It's dealing with the entity that they created. So now they have control over the entity and you don't.
Are you aware that you cannot be a sovereign without land? Are you aware that it is required that you own land to be sovereign?
What creates a sovereign? Land?
Yes, sir.
What's the definition of sovereign?
I mean, everything here is about.
You're supposed to have an army too.
So let me explain that to you. So we were in our proper status before they came here, right? We were already who we were.
Correct.
Through our genealogical records, we know that our ancestors were not paying taxes on their land. They were sovereign. They were not up underneath the state or the country, as it was referred to sometimes. If they were in Georgia, they were not. They were sovereign. They were not a part of the state or the country of Georgia until they made these proclamations and these acts. One of which was the Choctaw and Chickasaw Treaty. The Burke Act of 1906. We ain't talking about nothing in the 1800s. We're talking about 1906. They made all of the Chickasaw and Choctaw citizens by an act. And a lot of them lost the land because the tax assessor came knocking on the door and they was like, we ain't paying you nothing. Some of them tried, they couldn't get the money and they took the land. So they weren't paying taxes. And that is written down in law. And I don't know how people who talk about sovereign, how they don't know that.
Yeah, because
sovereign, you have to have land.
Yeah, the tricks. Excuse me, because that's what it really is. Trick or treat. The treaties are null and void at this point. Period. These people, right, use these treaties,
Isn't that mad illegal? Like I heard.
Can you
about
let me
something
finish?
like that.
Because obviously you don't know about it. So let me speak
no,
about it.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just
Okay,
asking.
just you cut me off, bro.
All right,
just hold on. These treaties, okay? These treaties of peace and friendship are beneficiary treaties, period. These Moroccans have signed over 2,800 of them. Okay? So I agree with what the guys are saying. Now, mind you, when it comes to this quote unquote blood quantum and this certificate of blood degree, they don't use no lab. They go into our records. Look up 1972 when the AIM, American Indian Movement by foreigners, right, and actors, stormed into the Bureau of Indian Affairs, squatted there for a week and stole our records. These people who are on reservations have been self-identifying as us. So they got the records. They know they're not us. They use our information to basically build casinos and get money every month. Like, how do you get money? Like, come on. This is what's been happening. They have been, how they make money, right, is they benefit from the minerals on the land. That's why all tribes, or excuse me, reservations don't get the same amount of money, because it all depends on the money that's in the land. Okay, so they sign private leases with Pan-African countries, which are Pan-African companies, right? Hold on, you got a little backlash. And they benefit. You get what I'm saying? They have come up with all of these organizations. They've been digging up our ancestors, and Tiffany and Company and K's, Every Kiss Begins with K, all of them been stealing off of this land. So what I'm saying is everything the goddess, yeah. I mean, all you have to do is do your genealogy, and not just that, your trust. You have to put everything in the trust. So I just want to let y'all know, when it comes to these comments, colonizers, that's not a bad word, you guys. Understand what conquistador and conquerors are. The colonizers mean cultivate, culture, okay? Agriculture, all of that. So don't listen to these people, and start when y'all go in history, start looking up the meanings to these words at that particular time. Matter of fact, forget the time. Look it up as the root of the word and what it means. Start breaking these words down, because that's what got us in this predicament now. And that's
And this
by
is what I'm
yeah, that's, hold on.
I was going.
That's by the word, right? The word is more.
What?
The word is more powerful. That's how they was able to. Walter Plecker and them, right? They went back into our records and our history in the 1900s. So think about if they didn't do that shit, right? We were still cool in the 1800s. They went back into our records and tried to say that the census records are slave records, which they're not, and to say that they put down B because of the color of our skin. Come on now. Politics don't deal with skin complexion. If you look up etymology, the ethnic and race is a social construct. You got nothing to do with your skin complexion. If you were labeled as Black back then, that means you are a prisoner, a slave. Okay? When you are labeled as YT, that does not mean your skin color. That means the people who are the owners of the land, the farmers. That's why he went back. Census records only want to know who's the owner, what's your occupation, how old you is, and how many people in the house. Why the fuck would they put down your skin color? The Pan-Africans and the Black separatist groups created race as a skin color. These fraternities and shit. That's all I want to say.
So I just wanted to say that, with the I'm good, I'm about the law. So the definition, and I can get whatever law dictionary, because I have mostly all of them. In Black's Law Dictionary, the 4th edition, a sovereign is defined as a chief ruler with supreme power, such as a king or other ruler with limited power. And here's a more detailed breakdown of the definition. Chief ruler, the term sovereign typically refers to a person who holds the highest position of authority within a state or territory, okay? In the supreme power, the sovereign is understood to possess the ultimate power and authority, often the ability to make and enforce laws. Okay, here's an example. The definition includes examples like a king or other ruler with limited power, highlighting that the term can apply to various forms of government.
Right.
Another meaning. Go ahead.
What is a king though?
You just said it. Literally.
No, he said stop.
I've been trying to respond for like 20 minutes.
Go ahead, bro.
So I'm hearing y'all points, and the sister beneath me, I only see the seat, but she said something that kind of answered it. Like our first question I had was, I understand like the terms like y'all not Black and stuff, but y'all type of Indian, right? Those $5 Indians, between the two, who has more land? For one, just hold that thought, right? So who has more land between the fake ones that's stealing y'all stuff, our stuff, and y'all? And then with what King Cali said about sovereign, that's hitting the nail on the head. So
another question. So whoever got more land, like say if a sovereign, if just one person was able to be sovereign, he could have king-like powers. He could have state ruler type powers. And if he has a lot of land, then we could repatriate to that part of the country.
So think about this.
And then when we get there and we protected by the land and being there and seeking asylum within these native reservoirs that's owned by real Indians, then we could start groundwork to protect the majority of us instead of it just being one family on that land.
Okay, so look.
I'd like to say something
Now,
about it.
okay. When it comes to who owns more, they don't own no land. Even people who buy land, you're leasing it. The land as an heir means to have and to hold forever. Okay? When people talk about, oh, Bill Gates buying up all the foreign land, look, that's just like being married, right? Never getting a divorce and get married again. Null and void. It impossible, right? So, secondly, he mentioned state. I want him to finish after Meta, whatever. State. I'm not a part of your state of mind. I'm not a part of your state of indoctrination because to me, I ain't gonna even say to you, right? Hold on, let me finish. Law.
Now I'm getting
land. What?
I asked the question and now I'm being insulted by you. Why?
I'm not talking to you.
Oh.
Brother, oh, my bad. You thought I was talking to you?
Yeah, I'm like, damn, what I do?
Chill, man. This is for the panel. We ain't on no personal phone.
What's up, I?
So let me finish. I ain't talking to you personally.
I'm
Like
so
you didn't do
sorry.
nothing to me. All you did was ask a question.
I'm so sorry.
So when it comes, damn, hope I didn't have. Okay, when it comes to right, when you understand, right, this land is land, air, and water. Okay. Before they came up with their laws like king and all of these type of definitions, you have to understand the root word to the meanings, right? Sovereign for the state of mind. We are beyond that. I'm ancient. I'm way more ancient than you could even understand the labels that they try to place upon us. See, we the engines. Okay. People keep forgetting that. We the engines, okay? Engine, the root word means hero. Okay, which means we are the heir to the people who created everything. We are the engines. The engines create everything, right? They had took Cherokee, respelled it. The Cherokee Nation is not the Cherokee, okay? So what I'm saying is, when it comes to these paper, that's the only way how they was able to erase us, okay? So you have to understand these terms before you attach them to your every being, you know? So I don't even know if I answered your question, but maybe somebody else can help because I got thrown off track.
What's up? All right. Also wanted to say, I don't know if y'all brought it up already. I wasn't really paying attention. I'm adding stuff to my Discord. Yeah, hit me up if you want to join the Discord, by the way. I was about to say, yeah, them 5 civilized tribes or federally recognized tribes, they're not really sovereign. Because they're literally getting paid to be under the jurisdiction of the federal government. You know, that's all.
Are they getting ready? Aren't they getting ready to sell more of the stuff? Because that's what Trump talking about when he say drill. They're gonna drill in even more in depth so-called Indian reservations.
Indian reservation is in the name, right?
Or whatever it's called. Like I'm
no. I was trying to add to help, bro. That's all we up here trying to do. We're not trying to say, oh, I know more information than you and big me, little you. No. But I'm gonna go ahead and let Meta take it.
So are you guys aware where the sovereignty states started? Where they first started? Do we all know that it was not here?
Yep. Yeah, I'm aware.
Right. I hope everybody is, okay? Because we can, when we know where it started, we can make sense of what it actually means, right? Can you put me on a big screen?
Yeah, I got you.
I don't know if this is going to show because I was having camera problems and it looks like it's already distorted. Okay. So territory is a key requirement for an entity to be considered a sovereign state in international law, along with permanent population, a government, a seal, a flag, all that, okay? And capacity to enter into relations with other states, right? So some people are talking about sovereign beings, some people are talking about sovereign entity, sovereign land, but I mean, if you don't have a territory, then where are you sovereign to, right? And this is why when people have to change their land, right, they put it in whatever the Hague country is or whatever, because that's a sovereign nation. So they're saying they're following up under there because it's still a part of the empire, right? So I mean, let's just make sense of this, because we don't need to argue about it, right? The Native Americans were given land. They told that they were sovereign. You know, that's why they were given land. Let's just make it make sense. You know, yeah, they got jacked too because you know, it went up underneath the federal government. Who controls it? That's not sovereign. Let's not get it twisted. That is not the concept of sovereignty at all. I mean, it's saying it right here, and I just want to pull up a couple of things of where it started, y'all, because it's not like it started here. Okay, the whole concept I'm saying. So the Westphalian system, also known as Westphalian sovereignty, is a principle in international law that each state has exclusive sovereignty over its territory, which is land. The principle developed in Europe after the Peace of Westphalia in 1648, based on the state theory of Jean Bodin and the natural law teachings of Hugo Grotius. Okay, so dodge the hijack. That's probably hijacked some. However, you know, they had all these peace treaties which resolved around land and religion, not just religion, but land. They were literally taking over lands, territories during these WARs in Europe, right around 1648, the early 1700s, when all these treaties were coming up in Europe. Because as they conquered the land, they were making treaties with the people that they were taking the land from, right? Or the land was shifting because it really wasn't originally theirs either, some of them. But you know, like, it's the same system, y'all. This is where it started. The even when they came over here, you can see this is recorded. I can't find it right now, but they were called sovereign natives when they came over here from Europe, because they were born here on this land and because they had land. So it's documented as calling them sovereign natives, because this was before the jack happened, you know, right in between that time when the crown was releasing some of their royal colonies and so forth, and they were scrambling around to make the Constitution before the Constitution got ratified and jacked. This was right around that time. So we don't need to argue about it. This is, and to answer your question, sir, we do have the most ears land, and that is recorded as well too. The problem is over time that land has diminished. So you can see the documentation by the 1920s, the so-called African Americans
Oh
had.
my Lord, that's crazy.
By the 1960s, the African Americans started with this amount of land, and now they only have this amount of land, and it has changed even today. So, like, we just need to be clear, because you guys, like, you know this. How can you run a territory if you don't have land? And a lot of you guys who are changing your status and Moors and like all that type of stuff, you know you need a government. You know you need a seal. You know you need an emblem. You know you need all these things, right? But what do you in government control over if you don't have land? Like, we just don't need to argue about that.
Yeah, to respond to that point right there, everything you just said.
Hold on.
If you look at that,
Hold on. We got people up here who haven't talked yet.
Yeah, the people that haven't spoke yet. Yeah, what's up, Shantae? What's up, Shazat? What's up, Serpent? What's up, Milton?
What's up?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Who said something?
I just said, hey, I wanted to hear what Wick had to say.
Oh, you wanted to hear what Wick had to say? All right. Good show.
Everything that she was saying, like, that's like I'm trying to get the panel and the people watching
to see where this is happening today. Because yeah, it's still happening in America, but where it's truly happening, go look at Palestine. Those people have everything she just said that a sovereign state need. And what she said, you lose more and more land. They come and they encroach on more and more land. And that's what's happening. And the only way for those people to fight back, and we see, I'm not gonna say the word, we see what they're doing. And that's why I be trying to ask the people, my people, anybody that don't want to be up under the American US corporation. Do y'all really believe we could go through the law system to get where we need to get? Because Palestinians are doing that right now. And then the craziest correlation, the craziest parallel is that they were once a part of the Ottoman Empire too. So is this why they canceled out the Ottoman Empire? Because they really was gonna rule, they really had the world? Like, what is going on here? Because all the people that has everything that she just stated, the need to be a sovereign state, they can't, because it don't matter. The white man come and he's gonna do and do these things that we talking about with the law system that King Kelly talking about. This is their system. There's only one way, and that's the way. Like the lady in the comments was saying about the creator. Man, I don't believe my creator.
Hold on, your background, King.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think.
Okay, hold on. We got Milton and we got Shishat. Go ahead.
Can I say
Milton?
something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. The only thing that I can think of, knowing the history and all the denial and everything, first of all, you have to demand the original contract, which they broke with the warring and having other tribes war against each other. Now, in that contract, and so many books that we read, you can see this, that they caused the warring and eventually they took over. As far as ownership of any land, the only way to go is with an allodial title that is free from government intervention. And those are basically the two principles that I can say that we could stand on, have some type of footing, especially with the knowledge that we are gaining by talking to each other and finding out this history.
The way Indian land works is there's a time frame when you get that land, there's a time frame that you have to hold it. I believe, I want to say it was like 20 to 30 years or 40 years, something like that. So with the jack that happened, a lot of us got land and there was unaliving of the parents. And so the kids were left alone. And there were these YT guardians. It wasn't even like, they have plenty of other family members, right? But what they had to do was they had to put a public notice in a newspaper and say, such and such is deceased, and these are the children. And if anyone must contact us before this date to claim the children and claim the land. And they would put it in the newspapers. And a lot of our family members couldn't read, well, I wouldn't say a lot, but you just never know. For whatever reason, people did not see that notice that went in the paper, and the land was sold. So I'm giving you a scenario what happened to hundreds of thousands of acres, y'all. And so because it was
hold on 1 second. Somebody got restricted.
Me.
Okay. All right, I'm about to just drop you and bring you back
Was
up.
it me?
I don't know. I'm gonna just clear the stage.
Oh, she should. Oh yeah. So what the hell?
Happens
That's
when
crazy.
She didn't even say nothing, did she?
Agents working overtime.
I know.
That means somebody said something wrong.
Yeah.
I don't even think she talked.
Yeah, I don't even know. I'm about to just clear the stage real quick. I'll bring y'all back up.
Probably my point.
Golly. Fuck with me, huh? Restriction. This. One second. Let me all right. Let's see. It's still restricted. Some things that some may find uncomfortable. Reason trading or using tobacco. Was somebody smoking? Was somebody smoking or gambling? What? It's been acting up all day for me. What's up, hey Woody? My. All right, so safe space. Drop some fruits in the chat, y'all. It's a safe space.
Peace. Everybody put fruits in the chat. TikTok, this is for entertainment, educational purposes only. No hate speech, bullying, harassment, discrimination, or racism is allowed on this platform. This is an 18 plus live. Anyone is more than welcome to come up on the panel as long as you're respectful and use TikTok safe words. I would love everyone to put fruits, vegetables in the chat. Do not put F1. Do not put F1. Put safe space, love, TikTok shop, things like that of sort.
Yep.
And let's continue to keep the numbers up. Let's get to 30K. Come on, y'all. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
Everyone who was on the panel or wanted to request that, please do so.
Yeah, request up, y'all. We'll bring you back up.
If y'all see anybody with weird talking points or whatever, please let us know so we can just go ahead
And get them out of here, yeah. Block all weirdo activity mods.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because I'm not trying to get suspended again.
I know that's right. Mind you, that's the reason why TikTok wanted to shut down in the first place, because of us, not because of no hate or nothing. Crazy.
So anybody else? Who else was up there? We had Shantae up here. We
I
had
gotta get him
Sunset.
up out of here.
Yeah, who else? Let me see if I can find it. What's up, KJ? Who else we have up here? Thank you for the shares. Thank you for the shares.
Hey, when the lady was talking about the sovereignty and the land and the population, that's my main thing, man. Like the population, like when people able to get that land, if it's enough for there to build a community there. Like I know there's you have to be individualistic in a way, but like to build a population, you know, that's the main concern, because some people really do, like the host was saying, like people got land, they, you know, they got their rights, they got their deeds, but it's only within, it's not enough for everybody, you know, it's not enough to build a city, you know, we need enough to build a city, and that's another safe space for everyone.
What's your 3D number big boy? Who the hell is he talking to?
What up, Darvin? What's going on, man?
What's
Hey,
up,
everybody.
Kente?
Good evening. Yeah,
Oh,
you know
that's
this
Poochie.
Poochie
What's
from
up?
Twitter. Yeah, man.
I just noticed it. But what's up?
Yeah, I'm good, man. But nobody afraid of being African, man. Nobody, man. They just be on here lying, man. It be people attacking me, and I'd be like, bro, I can prove that my ancestors is African. Then they favorite line is go take a DNA test. Like my mama not have Sudanese. Like,
Hold
what
on.
are you talking about, stupid?
Hold on, is this my cousin?
Lotto. Yeah, this
Oh,
Poochie.
why you change your name? I'm like, wait, I know that voice.
Because
What up,
yeah,
Fats?
because I'm the Kente Clown Hunter. That's what I call them Pans Africans. Take a clown. Your ass is a fool. Because the moment I start asking them, oh, prove you African, and then they be like, well, this ancestor was a slave. That slave could have been Irish. Like, what is you? Like, come on. He could have been Slavic. Like, come on, man. Y'all
For
need to be
sure.
real with y'all self, man. Cause I was literally having this talk earlier because somebody, I don't know, I ended up getting an argument on Call of Duty about that.
You arguing on Call of Duty? Yeah,
man, because they was like, she was like, I said, first off, I said, you cannot prove. I said, literally, I started listing all the facts about why it's not even possible. And even now, merchant ships have problems across the Atlantic. Modern day ships have problems going across the Atlantic. But well, Oceanica was what it was called back then. But let me not tell them too much history.
for sure. Can't give them too much
CIA,
source.
Yo,
yeah, the CIA,
before
boy.
there was the invention of the compass, wasn't it us that actually knew how to travel on the seas? They didn't even know how to travel. They used to just go on the sea and hope to land somewhere. We actually knew how to follow the stars and everything, you know? They didn't know what the North Star was.
Yeah, they had to learn what the North Star was. Like folks been traveling. Americans traveled to Europe, Africa. Mayans went over to Egypt. The Haudenosaunee went over to Europe. The Algonquin went over to Europe in the Mediterranean. Like, you know, folks been traveling.
Yeah, and
Well,
also, let me tell y'all a little gem that was in the recent movie. If you paid attention to Black Panther when they was talking about the vibranium, when the Mexicans had the vibranium, what's the name? T'Challa's baby mother was it was the bald headed one, the Dawaje Montoya. She was like, so the legends of the ancestors of the West were true. Notice
yeah,
the ancestors of the West. Where is the rest? America.
yep. And guess what? They were talking about because it's really the iridium, right? So the iridium, where it's most potent at, is over by Montana. You know what I'm saying? In Idaho, where the original Haiti is, bro. You just snapped on that one. I didn't even realize that. Wow, yo. Hey, that was a gem. I'm gonna have to call you cousin. My bad.
Yeah, but even then, if you ever paid attention, after he fought her, the Jaguars, the Black Jaguars, only native to America, the Black
Exactly.
Panther, and he already had a mural of the Black Panther.
Made him, I don't even know why they used the mestizo, but which made him organic to the flower and T'Challa synthetic to it. Keep that, because you had to consume it in order to have those powers. The dude was born with it.
Consumed it.
Mm-hmm.
But you also got to remember, he literally said he was a mutant. He was different from the other ones.
Yeah.
Because even then, he aged different from them, because by the time all of them was there for hundreds of years, he was only a little boy. And when he came back and the people was in indentured servitude, because I can't say the S word on here, right? And he burned down the whole plantation. But like I said, I was literally just talking about this in the last space. A lot of Mexicans don't want to admit it in these Latin American places, but the reason you're light-skinned is because they indoctrinated them to breed themselves out lighter. That's why it's hard to tell a biracial person from a Puerto Rican or somebody from South America, because they've been going on so long because they believed in purifying the race, and they still believe that now. That's why they don't show you the nappy-headed Mexicans. Want to know why? Because the nappy-headed Mexicans is what they used to look like.
Hey, I got one word for you. All Mex. All throughout the Americas, not even just in Mexico.
They all throughout Louisiana. A lot of people, they don't tell you that, but archaeologists literally tell you that the Maya Empire stretched all the way to Louisiana. Not even just that part too, because I can show you a picture of my great grandmother. She looked like one of them Olmec kids, and
guess
they
what?
all like yellow skin.
Yeah, but guess what though? Hold on. Let me say this real quick. The fact that they use the X, right? The X, y'all know what that represents. Number one, okay, they put in the movie Wakanda. Wow. But I'm saying, what is the Florida flag? Exactly.
And you want to know what's crazy? Namor is also a mutant, so he carries the X gene. That's what they call it in the Marvel comics, the X gene. Hence why they was called the X-Men.
The stories about us. That's what they were talking about, like how when it came to gods of Egypt, how when they were BLEEDING, it was gold, and that's what they were talking about when it came to the plasma. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
they literally had soldiers here that when they got hit with, they were their wounds were glowing.
They always get
Anyway,
rid of my green screen.
huh? You probably gotta update your phone.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
go
had-
ahead. My bad. Yeah. Wait.
Yeah, go ahead,
but
Wick.
that's my main like kind of getting off topic, but that's my main problem with the Hispanic community is because they actually have a lot of documentation of conquistadors doing to them what was done to the North America. And they still like they soak everything that was given to them, like or that was forced upon them. They just soak it in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, they're the last ones to come. I mean, to be enslaved, I guess. Mm.
Won't even let me put the picture up, y'all.
Damn.
What?
Oh, that happened to me. I just dropped and came back
Yeah, you probably gotta drop and come back.
and shut the
Okay.
app down.
Yeah, it probably gotta close
Um,
that. Yeah.
I would try one more time, and then I'm gonna leave and come back.
But before you come back, clean out your cookies. You know how you go on TikTok, you go to the settings and then go to
There we
free
go.
space.
There we
Okay.
go. Yeah,
Alright,
because
that's right.
my great grandmother was born on the Chitimacha reservation. This is what a Chitimacha looked like. So I don't know what to tell them because their favorite line is, "All y'all want to do is claim Cherokee. All y'all want to do is claim Cherokee."
The crazy thing about it is, you know, if she was Indian, she married another Indian who was either same. And
Repeat
now
that
his
again.
parents
What's
and
up,
their
CR?
parents. So people need to understand when we say that we have more than one tribe or clan and that we are mixed, it doesn't make sense for you to just say, "Oh, I'm just one." That just if you have like I've done massive amount of genealogy, that just
Right.
it's rare. It's almost impossible. So when somebody's coming and saying, "Oh, I just want," okay, well, I know you haven't finished your genealogy then.
I'm more than one
And
tribe too.
the crazy thing about the crazy thing about it is that no matter which tribes we are coming from, we look the same. They look the same.
And you know what got us?
I can show you a
Worldwide.
picture of my grandma, and she
Hold on,
almost
hold on, brother. Hold on, brother.
wanted to say last. I could show him a picture of my grandma, and she almost looks like that.
Yes, and goddess. What that tells you is when these people are only attached to one tribe. Remember, I think I heard it from you. Basically, in so many words, y'all really kept it close. Because when they said that we were mixing within tribes, not our own bloodline. That's a big difference. Go ahead, King.
With the
Go
bands
ahead.
would be different because just like the Seminole had different bands, right? And the Creek had different bands, right? So that was all because they had to position themselves into a band after the WARs, right? Because they were in a territory, whoever was there, including some of the freedmen or whatever, they had to band together. Even some of them who had the Slavs, they took their Slavs into their band. And like I said, that was protection and that was a way for them to say, okay, this is our band, this is who we have, because they were trying to remove them to Oklahoma. So these they broke off into these small bands, and then that's that's also how they traveled together in these bands to Kansas to Oklahoma, and that route. And so, like if you do on your genealogy and you see, your grandmother, right? And then you see it, the Indian record, the roll has both her mother and father's name. It may say that they come from the same band, and it may say that they don't come from they come from different bands as well too. So that's the only time where you're gonna be seeing, well, because you understand what I'm saying, the band is a little bit different than the clan. But like in my genealogy, the clan, the matriarch always married somebody else who was not a part of the clan. You know, she was like, they were like, I have several chief lines. And so the chief's daughter always married somebody else from another clan. And like people need to understand that. Like that's a big red flag to me, people waving around. This is what these Native Americans do. I'm just one tribe. Don't make sense.
Really, everybody on the reservations is cousins anyway. Everybody know that. You can't just marry within your cousin. That's like even in the hood. I'll be careful right now. I'll be careful anytime a woman's last name is Johnson, Harris, or James. I know I have to double arms interval and ask about her genealogy because I ain't finna come out here with my kids built like Stephen A. Smith. And you know what I'm saying,
Can I say this part? Like, for instance, I'll use the last name Johnston, right? There's Johnston, North Carolina. There's Johnson, probably Oklahoma. There's Johnson. See what I'm saying? There's several
Mississippi
states
Johnsons.
that have the same last name. So when we go back to sovereign and we talk about the land, like our ancestors named the land, that the territory that they were in, they named that land after them. And they were
Yep.
sovereign because they actually had that land and they actually had their trust set up. Believe me, y'all, they did. They didn't go through all this it's at the tip of my tongue, probate. They didn't go through the probate that, you know, that started like in the 1900s. You understand what I'm saying? So that's another further thing about them being sovereign to their land. It was a Indian sovereignty. They weren't before they got in the system. You know, so your great grandparent had that status because of their land. They did not pay taxes. They did not live up underneath that, you know, that government in this underneath that, you know, that government. They probably participated with it, but they were doing their own thing because they were on their own land and they actually had the city or town named after them. And mind you, they started incorporating a lot of the 13 colonies when in the 1830s, right after the removal. You had a couple of them that came earlier, and you had, you know, like, and it wasn't a lot. It wasn't like the whole state was incorporated. It was that little town that was incorporated in 1750, that one little small town. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's really important that we do our genealogy. This is why I'm talking about it. Do your genealogy, find out all the jacks that happened. You know what I'm saying? Even if your ancestors don't have the land now, track it. Because if you find one, they had kids and their children had kids, and so it might be your great aunt on your father's side. You know what I'm saying? It might be your great grandmother's brother's land that you might be an heir of, you know, and all their siblings. You know what I'm trying to say? So don't just look at your grandmother, great grandmother. Look at your great grandmother's siblings. Look at their land patents too. Look up for them. And this is where I'm saying where we have a vast amount of land, y'all. And it's going to start through genealogy. And I think once we can show through our genealogy together, not just 100 people who did their genealogy, and they're like, hey, what's up with that? But when you have tens of thousands of people who are like, hey, this is what I found, what's up with that? That's where we have greater power to move things. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we have to give up saying that we are from this land. Period. Especially if you find out that your ancestors had land, regardless of whether that land is gone or not. You know, that was you, and you should be able to go back to that. I would say even if you don't have the land, find that the H-jacks that happen.
Yeah. What's up, Mind Makeover? And I'm about to wrap this live up, y'all. Appreciate y'all coming through.
Yeah, I'm about to go ahead and go to bed. Hey, but Darby, you know what's crazy though? I'm gonna tell you this because my homeboy, he in the army and he's Samoan. He literally said all my families look like Islanders.
Wow, yeah, that's fire.
He said
But
I'm the
yeah.
only. He said I'm the only one that look African.
All right, but yeah, all right, y'all. I appreciate
See
y'all
you,
coming
man.
through. Thank
Yeah,
y'all for the
appreciate
likes.
y'all, man.
Hit me up if you want to join the Discord.